Chapter 837. Of course, I'll tell you more about the quest when everyone is here. For now, Xiaoyao will stay in the Emperor's city for the time being to rest and prepare for the upcoming challenge, the fourth Master Scar said with a smile. He still had a lot of faith in Jun Xiaoyao. His cultivation was in the peak stage of the Great Sacred Realm, and his strength had greatly surpassed his cultivation. He was even able to take on a pseudo-9 Heaven Supreme with his cultivation of the Great Sacred Realm. The fourth Master Scar had never seen such an insane genius in his life. It was his first time encountering someone like Qin Nan. The world of the godly ruins might be dangerous, but it should not be a problem for Jun Xiaoyao. Presumably, Jun Xiaoyao would also give those bastards from the other side a big surprise. The fourth Master Scar took his leave after the matter came to an end. After all, he was an elder in charge of guarding the border. He had to keep an eye on the foreign cultivators at all times. Thus, he did not have much time to waste on trivial matters. However, he did summon a few elders of the border and asked them to handle Jun Xiaoyao's situation. Jun Xiaoyao asked about Jun Wuhui. The fourth Master Scar let out a sigh. He was not too sure about the situation. Jun Wuhui was not stationed in the original Emperor's city. He was stationed at the border all the time. It was a lot deeper and more dangerous than the border. Jun Xiaoyao nodded. He believed Jun Wuhui would not die so easily, even if it was just one of Sanqing's clones. After that, the few remaining elders from the border took Jun Xiaoyao, the lunar jade hair, and Yu Chanwan to find a residence that was filled with spiritual qi to settle down. Wow, is this an immortal cave residence? Tying jade hair's eyes glittered. The place was filled with jade grass, strange flowers, and strange rocks. The qi was as dense as mist. The original Emperor's city had abundant qi. It was considered one of the best places in the 9 Heavens immortal realm. Meanwhile, the qi in the residence was even thicker. It felt like it was going to turn into a mist. Not bad indeed. Jun Xiaoyao was satisfied. They temporarily settled down in this mansion. Outside the mansion, many geniuses were watching. However, none of them dared to get close for fear of disturbing Jun Xiaoyao and making him unhappy. The Yama Emperor, the reincarnated Arhut Di, and the others left with solemn expressions. Jun Xiaoyao's strength had refreshed their understanding and made them feel pressured. After all, the ultimate trial wasn't just a place to fight against the geniuses of the other side. It was also a competition between the geniuses of the immortal realms. After everything was settled, Jun Xiaoyao also relaxed. He didn't choose to go into seclusion. This was because the opening of the ultimate trial was fast approaching. The tying jade hair, on the other hand, clung to Jun Xiaoyao every day. Sometimes, it would transform into a little girl and nestle in Jun Xiaoyao's arms. From time to time, she would transform into her rabbit form and let Jun Xiaoyao stroke her fur. On the other hand, Yu Chanwan was envious. Although she lived next door to Jun Xiaoyao didn't look for her much. Not to mention something had happened between them. This made Yu Chanwan a little disappointed. Ordinary men couldn't wait to covet her body. However, Jun Xiaoyao wasn't interested in her at all. However, this made Yu Chanwan fall in love with Jun Xiaoyao even more. A few days later, a beautiful figure came to Jun Xiaoyao's residence, which surprised Jun Xiaoyao. The woman was wearing a blue dress. She was tall and slender with long legs. Her skin was snow white and sparkling like jade. Her long hair was also blue. It was as if she was a mirror. Jun Xiaoyao was very surprised. This woman was Jun Lanqi of the Jun family's hidden branch. When they were on the buried Emperor's star, Jun Xiaoyao had saved the lives of Jun Lanqi and the others. Of course, he had also killed Jun Xianming. Brother Xiaoyao, you really came to the original imperial city. However, you caused quite a stir as soon as you arrived, Jun Lanqi said with a smile. You know so much. It seems that the hidden branch also has people in the original imperial city, Jun Xiaoyao said. Jun Lanqi nodded slightly. Are Jun Yinhuang and Jun Qinyan of the hidden branch also in the imperial city? Jun Xiaoyao suddenly asked. Jun Lanqi was taken aback and nodded. Jun Xiaoyao's eyes were deep. To be honest, the 18th ancestor and the others had pinned the hope of the hidden branch's return on Jun Xiaoyao. However, Jun Xiaoyao still hadn't thought of a way to let the hidden branch return. The two of them are in the Imperial City, but they didn't come to visit. It seems that they have something against the Son of God, Jun Xiaoyao said indifferently. It was probably because he had killed Jun Xiaming. No, it's not like that. Our hidden branch is not hostile to Xiaoyao, Jun Lanqi hurriedly said. Oh, there's no need for that. I don't care. Jun Xiaoyao waved his hand. After a little chat, Jun Lanqi left. A strange look flashed in Jun Xiaoyao's eyes. He was waiting for an opportunity to completely let the hidden branch return. In fact, it could be seen from Jun Lanqi that the hidden branch and the main branch of the Jun family actually didn't have any extreme conflict or deep hatred. It was just a difference in philosophy. In this way, as long as there was a chance, Jun Xiaoyao could let the hidden branch return. At that time, the main branch and hidden branch would be united. Even someone as powerful as the Supreme Immortal Court would probably be very wary. All right, it's time to go to the Merit Hall. Jun Xiaoyao didn't forget that he still had a chance to be a freeloader. Jun Xiaoyao went out with the tying jade hair and Yuchan Wan. The Merit Hall was very easy to find. It was in the central area of the original Imperial City. Although it was far away, there was a teleportation array, so they could get there quickly. Not long after, Jun Xiaoyao arrived at the Merit Hall. Looking around, the stone hall made of basalt was vast and solemn, filled with an ancient and magnificent aura. From time to time, some old people and cultivators from the border came in and out. At the entrance of the stone hall, a guard saw Jun Xiaoyao coming. He stepped forward and cupped his hands. You're the son of God of the Jun family, right? The fourth Master Scar has already sent someone to greet you. The Son of God can choose a treasure for free in the Merit Hall. Thank you. Jun Xiaoyao nodded lightly. Then, the few of them entered. Looking around, the entire Merit Hall was bigger than it looked from the outside. There were spatial fluctuations washing over it. Inside, there was a vast space. All kinds of rare treasures, ancient books, and scriptures emitted brilliant rays of light. There were flashing numbers on it, representing the merit points needed to exchange for a treasure. Jun Xiaoyao didn't have any merit points, but he could choose an item for free. Wow, so many treasures. Purple gold ginseng, sky bodhi fruit, white jade radish. The tying jade hair looked at the sacred herbs and drooled. The sacred herbs here were all rare species in the immortal realm. Of course, there were also all kinds of elixirs of immortality. Although there weren't many, there weren't few either. It was just that exchanging for elixirs of immortality required a huge amount of merit points. It was impossible to gather so many merit points unless one was an old man who had killed enemies at the border for a long time. In addition, Jun Xiaoyao also saw a boundary emperor weapon, each of which was shockingly high in merit points. Jun Xiaoyao also felt a faint emperor's aura. It came from the core of the Merit Hall. Emperor weapon. Jun Xiaoyao was a little surprised. He didn't expect to be able to exchange for a rare emperor weapon. If Jun Xiaoyao was willing, he could exchange for an emperor weapon now. But to be honest, an emperor weapon wasn't what Jun Xiaoyao needed the most now. He was the master of the Emperor Imperial Court. The Emperor Imperial Court alone had more than one emperor weapon. In the desolate ancient sacred palace, he had obtained the desolate god armor, but he temporarily handed it over to the sacred body martial guardian for safekeeping. In Jun Xiaoyao's forehead, there was a guardian emperor weapon, the desolate ancient emperor talisman. Therefore, Jun Xiaoyao really didn't need an emperor weapon. With his current cultivation, he couldn't fully unleash the power of an emperor weapon. As for the boundary emperor weapon, Jun Xiaoyao still had the great desolate halberd. He also had the myriad chi cauldron, which was qualified to become an immortal artifact. Therefore, instead of exchanging for an emperor weapon that wasn't very useful to him now, it was better to exchange for something useful. There are too many treasures here. I don't know how long it will take to look at them one by one. Why don't I? Jun Xiaoyao seemed to have thought of something and immediately began to activate the power of his primordial spirit. Boom! The terrifying power of the primordial spirit spread out like a tide. The vigorous power of the primordial spirit shocked the cultivators in the Merit Hall. They all looked sideways. What a powerful primordial spirit power. It's at the boundless level. Many cultivators looked at Jun Xiaoyao with their mouths agape. Chapter 838. Primordial spirit levels were divided into ordinary, exceptional, extraordinary, boundless, eternal, void, turbulent, immortal, and moksha. Logically speaking, an ordinary supreme being's primordial spirit could reach the extraordinary level. There weren't many who reached the boundless level. However, Jun Xiaoyao, who was only at the great sage realm, already had the power of the boundless primordial spirit. His primordial spirit was as vast as the sea. This was very shocking. He wasn't much weaker than a supreme being who specialized in cultivating the primordial spirit. However, the problem was that Jun Xiaoyao's physical body had also reached the pinnacle. It was very outstanding and could be said to be the only one in all of history. An eternal taboo, Sky Pride, whose physical body and primordial spirit far surpassed those of his peers. Indeed, it was frightening. This primordial spirit power. I thought it was some supreme being who came. So it's the son of God of the Jun family. In the depths of the Merit Hall, there were also old antiques overseeing this place. All of their eyes were filled with surprise. Jun Xiaoyao's primordial spirit swept through the many treasures. To be honest, there were many things that tempted him. There were incomplete immortal scriptures, ancient books, and great divine powers comparable to the Kuan Peng and the Thunder Emperor. There were even many treasures from other realms. For example, the dragon horn of the evil dragon lineage, the dark immortal scripture of the dark heaven lineage, and so on. There was a dazzling lineup that made it difficult to choose. Unfortunately, there's no heavenly book. Jun Xiaoyao clicked his tongue. If there was a heavenly book, he would definitely exchange for it directly. Of course, Jun Xiaoyao was just thinking about it casually. Even if there was a heavenly book, it wouldn't be his turn to exchange for it. Someone would have already done so. At this moment, Jun Xiaoyao's eyes flashed. His sharp divine sense picked up a strange ripple. Then, he came to an area in the Merit Hall. This area was where some incomplete ancient artifacts were placed. Among them, there were some very old things that were filled with the aura of time dust. The things here weren't like the Emperor weapons, elixirs of immortality, or immortal scriptures that required a huge amount of merit points. These things were relatively cheap. Because many of the things were ancient and incomplete, no one could see their uses. Of course, from time to time, there would be cultivators who would find useful things among them. However, they were still in the minority. Jun Xiaoyao raised his hand and picked up something. It was a simple and unadorned lotus seed. Its surface looked a little withered and yellow, as if it had lost its vitality. There was nothing special about it. However, with Jun Xiaoyao's keen telepathic thoughts, he detected a hint of unusual waves. Jun Xiaoyao played with the lotus seed. It was warm to the touch, but that was all. At this moment, an old man in the Hall of Merit stepped forward and asked, "Have you chosen the Son of God?" "I'll take this one," Jun Xiaoyao said. Seeing this, the old man hesitated for a moment before continuing, "Son of God, this lotus seed has been examined by others before. There is nothing too special about it. Perhaps it's just an ancient species that has lost its life force. It's not that rare." From the old man's point of view, since Jun Xiaoyao had this opportunity, he naturally had to seize it. Emperor weapon, immortal sutra, immortal elixir. Who knew how many people would be envious of them? However, Jun Xiaoyao had his eyes on this lotus seed. To be honest, I'm not particularly lacking in emperor weapons, immortal sutra, and immortal elixir. I'm just casually picking them. Jun Xiaoyao smiled slightly. Hearing this, the old man was speechless. Jun Xiaoyao was truly oversized. However, thinking about it, with Jun Xiaoyao's status, these extremely precious items were not particularly attractive to him. The old man nodded. Jun Xiaoyao was the one who got the lotus seed as well. Although I don't know what's so special about this lotus seed, I have the spring of life, Jun Xiaoyao thought to himself. He would not waste this opportunity. The others examined this lotus seed, but did not find anything, perhaps because it had not recovered its vitality. However, the spring of life should be able to nourish this lotus seed. As for what effect it would produce in the end, it was up to fate. After Jun Xiaoyao exchanged for the lotus seed, he prepared to return to his residence with Yu Chanwan and the tying jade hair. However, just as he stepped out of the Hall of Merit, an incomparably cold voice suddenly sounded. Seems like enemies are destined to meet. Jun Xiaoyao looked in the direction of the voice after hearing the chilling voice. A group of people had arrived. The one who spoke was an old acquaintance, Gu Tizi, and he was not the only one. At the side, a beautiful, noble, and elegant figure was also staring at him with a cold light in her phoenix eyes. Princess Lingyan. In addition, Wei Qianqian, Song Li, Yao Qing, Xing Lu, and the other successors of immortal lineages were also present. Although Qi Lai had been killed by Jun Xiaoyao, Qi Yu immortal lineage was still present. However, Qi Long replaced him and became the successor of Qi Yu immortal lineage. The successors of the 9 great immortal lineages were all present. At this moment, many cultivators on the streets around the Hall of Merit looked over. The atmosphere suddenly seemed to have frozen. The conflict between the Xian Ting and the Jun family was needless to say. A mountain could not accommodate 2 tigers. One was a supreme force that once dominated the immortal realm. The other was an immortal family with a long history. In this era of great competition where the world was changing, the 2 forces were bound to have a struggle for luck. Heroes vying for supremacy, fighting for the legitimacy of heaven and earth. What's the matter? Jun Xiaoyao's eyes were indifferent. He was not surprised to see Gu Tizi and the others. As the successor of the Xian Ting, they would naturally participate in this ultimate trial. Not to mention that Gu Tizi and the others were the 7 rebellious emperors who were trying to get rid of him. The world of divine ruins was the best opportunity. You're not a Dharmakaya this time, right? Gu Tizi's body was enveloped in 8 trigrams runes, and his aura was incomparably transcendent. The scene of Jun Xiaoyao kidnapping the bride with a Dharmakaya was still vivid in his mind. It could be said to be a crack in his heart. Only Jun Xiaoyao's death could heal it. You should be glad that I came to the wedding as a Dharmakaya. If I came with my real body, you might not necessarily still be here. Jun Xiaoyao's eyes were indifferent. That one sentence made Gu Tizi's expression instantly turn cold. Jun Xiaoyao did not say much, but every word he said was heart-wrenching. All the surrounding cultivators were stunned. Jun Xiaoyao was facing the successors of the 9 great immortal families alone, and yet he was still so powerful. It was truly astonishing. Jun Xiaoyao, I still have a debt to settle with you. Ling Yan's exquisite face, which was like a celestial being's, was not pleasant. Back in the black abyss reincarnation sea, Jun Xiaoyao had taken away her opportunity, and Jun Xiaoyao had left a humiliating mark on her inner thigh, which had yet to disappear. Jun Xiaoyao looked thoughtfully at Ling Yan's slender legs. Ling Yan's snow-white skin was covered in goosebumps, and she couldn't help but close her legs. Jun Xiaoyao, aren't you curious about Fairy Yuan's whereabouts? Ling Yan changed the topic. She should be with you, Jun Xiaoyao said. He had guessed as much. Don't worry, I brought her here this time. She will bear witness to your defeat, Ling Yan said. As soon as she finished speaking, the successors of the 9 great immortal families all looked at Jun Xiaoyao in a crescent shape, as if they were going to surround him. Many of the surrounding cultivators were shocked. Could it be that Xian Ting could not wait any longer and wanted to attack? If the successors of the 9 great immortal families attacked together, Jun Xiaoyao would be in danger. Jun Xiaoyao frowned slightly, and a cold light flashed in his eyes. At that moment, an aura suddenly exploded in the distance, accompanied by a disdainful sneer. What? Does Xian Ting think that there is no one in the Jun family? A handsome young man with a jade-like complexion walked in the air with his hands clasped behind his back. As he walked, he looked like a deity descending to the mortal world. His eyes were as deep as the universe, and a terrifying scene of the sun being destroyed and the stars sinking appeared. Chaotic divine light bloomed, and the void cracked. It was Jun Ling Song, the sequence number 1 of the Jun family, the man with polychoria. Almost at the same time, in another direction, a handsome figure holding a heavenly secret umbrella a wine gourd hanging from his waist, and an imperial crown on his head, walked in the air. It was Lord Grimm lying drunk on the battlefield. It's the sequence number 1 of the June family and the ancient freak. One has the invincible polychoria, and the other has the world's suppressing emperor physique. The eyes of the cultivators in all directions trembled. The limelight of these two was not much weaker than Jun Xiaoyao's. Jun Lingsong and Jun Ma Xiao came to Jun Xiaoyao's side. The three of them looked at each other and smiled. Their tacit understanding was evident. At that moment, everyone held their breaths. On one side were the successors of the 9 great immortal families. On the other side were the 3 giants of the Jun family. The most powerful cultivators of the younger generation of the 2 top forces were facing off against each other. Chapter 839. The atmosphere was so tense that it was suffocating. That was because such a confrontation was too rare. Each of the 9 successors of the Xian Ting's immortal orthodoxies was extraordinary. One could say that they were the absolute elites of the Xian Ting's younger generation. Moreover, Ling Yin was the young emperor of the Xian Ting. Compared to before, his status had undergone a qualitative change. On the Jun family's side, the 3 powerhouses of the younger generation had long been famous on the ancient road. Jun Lingsong and Lord Grimm did not seem to be as famous as Jun Xiaoyao. However, that was only relative. Compared to the other outlawed sky prides, they were only stronger. A confrontation like this naturally attracted everyone's attention. You people of the Xian Ting are used to bullying others with numbers. How about I take you on? Jun Lingsong placed one hand behind his back. His double pupils no longer needed to be sealed with a black cloth. He looked no different from an ordinary person. However, when Jun Lingsong glanced at the 9 successors of the immortal orthodoxies, his single pupil seemed to split into 2 pupils. His aura was so powerful that it seemed to be able to separate heaven and earth. The aura was terrifying. It seems that my cousin has gained a lot as well, Jun Xiaoyao thought to himself. It was rumored that Jun Lingsong had obtained the inheritance of an ancient man with polychoria. Now, it seemed that the rumor was true. Just because you have more people doesn't mean that you can suppress us. In fact, I think that Xiaoyao alone is enough to suppress all of you. Lingsong and I are just icing on the cake. Lord Grimm picked up the wine gourd hanging from his waist and took a sip. He appeared to be lazy and casual. It was as if he did not care about the 9 successors of the immortal orthodoxies in front of him. I do hope that you can fight, but don't disappoint me like before. Jun Xiaoyao flicked his sleeves and said casually. Seeing the attitude of the 3 powerhouses of the Jun family, the cultivators present were speechless. They were the only ones who dared to show such an attitude in front of the successors of the Xian Ting. They're not from the same family after all. Even their tone is the same. Some cultivators were speechless. Is the Jun family filled with madmen? Every single one of them is so free and unrestrained. They don't put anything in their eyes. They're all the same. Annoying personalities. Gu Tizi frowned. Suddenly, at this moment, 2 more auras appeared in the distant sky. This left many people astonished, casting their gazes over. Could it be that someone else was here to join in the fun? A look of surprise flashed in Jun Xiaoyao's eyes when he sensed the aura. On the other side, Gu Tizi also had a strange look in his eyes. The auras of the 2 figures were incredibly powerful. They were at the level of a supreme outlawed sky pride. Within the light, a man and a woman appeared. The young man was dressed in a dark golden imperial robe. He had a slender physique and looked like a dragon or a phoenix. The woman wore a luxurious dress that outlined her graceful figure, and her appearance was peerlessly beautiful and flawless. Moreover, a rain of grand Dao flowers fluttered in the surroundings, causing her to seem like a female god. That's Jun Yin Emperor and Jun Qingyan of the Jun family's hidden lineage. Some cultivators recognized the 2 of them. Jun Xiaoyao's eyes flashed with surprise. At this moment, he also saw Jun Lanqi, who was dressed in a blue dress, waving at him from behind the 2 of them. They really are sky prides of the hidden lineage. Jun Lingsong and Lord Grimm also cast their gazes over. The Jun family's hidden lineage was not much weaker than the Jun family's main lineage. However, they had always kept a low profile, so outsiders did not know much about them. Now that the two sky prides of the hidden lineage had arrived, the situation had become complicated and confusing. Some of the cultivators present vaguely knew what was going on. Although the hidden lineage had split from the Jun family, it was not the kind of split that one would imagine. They had simply parted ways due to different ideologies. Now that the two sky prides of the hidden lineage had appeared, what was the meaning of this? Could it be that the hidden lineage was returning to the Jun family? Many cultivators were shocked when they thought of this. The Jun family was already powerful enough. The main lineage alone was enough to make the Xian Ting wary. If the hidden lineage were to return, wouldn't they be able to split the world with the Xian Ting? Jun Yinhuang looked at Jun Xiaoyao. His eyes were like a fog, making it difficult for others to see through him. On the other hand, a faint smile appeared on Jun Qingyan's flawless face. She said, "I've heard of the three of you before. Now that I've met you today, I can see that you are indeed outstanding." Jun Xiaoyao and the others nodded slightly. Gu Tizi looked at Jun Yinhuang and the others, his eyes revealing a thoughtful look. At present, the 9 successors of the Xian Ting were on one side. The 3 giants of the Jun family and the 2 sky prides of the hidden lineage were on the other side. In this way, the Xian Ting would not be able to overpower the Jun family. In fact, even if Jun Xiaoyao was alone, the Xian Ting would not be able to overpower the Jun family. Everyone! At this moment, an old voice was heard. It came from the Hall of Merit. It was an elder from the border. He said, "It's not good to have a conflict in front of the Hall of Merit. Moreover, the ultimate trial is about to begin. You will be facing challenges from the other side. Unless it's absolutely necessary, it's better not to fight among yourselves." The old man's words caused the atmosphere at the scene to calm down. The cold expression on Gu Tizi's face disappeared, and a strange smile appeared on his face. He said, "Since the elder has spoken, then forget it. Jun Xiaoyao, I hope you can maintain this invincible attitude in the world of the divine ruins." Seeing this, Jun Xiaoyao said calmly, "It seems that you have a thorough plan. But you have to know, in the face of absolute strength, any scheme is foolish and laughable. Then let's wait and see. Those who drown are all people who can swim." Gu Tizi smiled. Not only was he strong, but he also had a trump card. He had even prepared 4 killing moves to deal with Jun Xiaoyao. If this was not enough to kill Jun Xiaoyao, then he would accept it. Gu Tizi turned around and left. Looking at Gu Tizi, a dark light flashed in Jun Xiaoyao's eyes. This was indeed an ambitious and ruthless character. Not only was he strong, but he was also smart and would not act rashly. If he was born in another era, he would definitely be a person who could overturn the clouds and rain and stand at the peak. Unfortunately, he met Jun Xiaoyao. It could only be said that it was a tragedy to be born in the same era as Jun Xiaoyao. Ling Yin glanced at Jun Xiaoyao as if he wanted to say something, but it was not convenient to say in public. Therefore, he only snorted coldly and left. Jun Xiaoyao knew that Ling Yin was concerned about the mark on her inner thigh. This could only be said to be Jun Xiaoyao's bad taste. Wei Qianqian looked at Jun Xiaoyao and shook her head. To be honest, Jun Xiaoyao's appearance was really her cup of tea. Unfortunately, it was the opposite. Yao Qing, Song Li, and the others were expressionless. On the other hand, Qi Long of Qiyu celestial lineage looked at Jun Xiaoyao with hatred and a hint of complexity. Jun Xiaoyao killed Qi Lai. However, it allowed the Qiyu celestial lineage's sky prides to experience what it felt like to be at the top. It was a very complicated feeling. As the successors of the 9 great immortal lineages left, the atmosphere calmed down completely. Jun Xiaoyao's gaze turned to Jun Yinhuang and Jun Qingyan. "Let's go to my residence," Jun Xiaoyao said. He knew that the 2 successors of the hidden lineages had appeared. Their real purpose was not to help the Jun family's momentum. They came with a purpose. Chapter 840. No one expected that in front of the Mirror Hall, the younger generation of the 2 great forces would be at each other's throats. Fortunately, the ultimate trial was about to begin, so both sides restrained themselves and did not fight in the original imperial city. However, this was something that would happen sooner or later. After that, Jun Xiaoyao brought the group back to the mansion. Yu Chanwan and tying Jade Hair tactfully retreated. Jun In Emperor glanced at Jun Lingsong and Lord Grim. It seems that we have to avoid arousing suspicion, Jun Lingsong said indifferently. The two of them left as well. Only Jun Xiaoyao, Jun In Emperor, and Jun Qingyan were left in the hall. Jun Xiaoyao sat at the head of the table with a casual attitude, without any intention of being courteous. You can tell me why you are here. Jun Xiaoyao's attitude made Jun In Emperor frown slightly. Shouldn't you give an explanation for Jun Xianming's death? Jun In Emperor asked. Jun Xianming was from his bloodline. Jun Qingyan's expression changed. Jun Xiaoyao killing Jun Xianming wasn't a big deal, but it wasn't a small matter either. However, according to Jun Lanxi, Jun Xianming had indeed gone overboard. Tell me your real purpose. This son of God doesn't want to waste my breath on such trivial matters. Jun Xiaoyao tapped his fingers on the armrest of the chair and said indifferently, "Huh, as expected of the main bloodline son of God. You are quite arrogant." Jun In Emperor sneered. Just as Jun Xiaoyao had guessed, the two of them didn't appear to help the Jun family. Jun In Emperor threw out a jade scroll. Jun Xiaoyao caught it and scanned it with his divine sense. His expression changed slightly. After a while, Jun Xiaoyao said, "Do you know the content of the scroll?" "I don't know, but I can tell you that it is very difficult for my hidden bloodline to return," Jun In Emperor said. "It is indeed a very difficult condition, even so difficult that it's almost impossible." Jun Xiaoyao's eyes shone with a cold light. Within the jade slip was a condition. It was a condition for the return of the hidden branch of the Jun family. This condition was somewhat excessive. In fact, it could even be said that it was practically impossible. A cracking sound was heard. Jun Xiaoyao clenched his 5 fingers and crushed the jade slip into powder, which flowed down through the gaps between his fingers. "Tell this son of God's words that I'll accept it." Jun Xiaoyao's words caused Jun In Wang and Jun Qingyan's expressions to change slightly. They didn't know what specific information was contained in the jade slip, but it was obviously an extremely harsh condition. Only by fulfilling this condition would the hidden branch of the Jun family be able to return. "I'm curious if you have what it takes." Jun In Emperor took one last look at Jun Xiaoyao before turning to leave. Jun Qingyan paused for a moment and said to Jun Xiaoyao, "Many thanks to Clan Brother for saving the life of my Lanxi." "It's nothing," Jun Xiaoyao said indifferently. "Clan Brother, if there is anyone who has the ability to bring the hidden branch back, it should be you." Jun Qingyan sighed. She actually hoped that the hidden branch would return. After all, their branch had been silent for too long. They had forgotten what their glory was like in the past. Jun Qingyan then left. Only Jun Xiaoyao was left. The expression in his eyes fluctuated, and in the end, the corners of his mouth curled into a faint arc. Interesting, really interesting. A condition that is impossible to fulfill? Jun Xiaoyao laughed. The condition in the jade slip could be said to be impossible for anyone to fulfill. They didn't even dare to think about it. Jun Xiaoyao slowly raised his head. His gaze seemed to penetrate the dome and meet the heavens. No matter how many plans you make, it is still inferior to God's plans. "God, are you trying to prove that I can't win this game? Then let's see who will have the last laugh." Jun Xiaoyao flicked his sleeves. His eyes were deep and bottomless, flickering with light. He had already thought of a scheme, a flawless scheme. "Gutizi, I hope that your scheme can give me a pleasant surprise. This scheme can't be done without you," Jun Xiaoyao said meaningfully. Although things could be solved by force, Jun Xiaoyao had always disdained to use his wits. However, in this game with God, he still needed a plan. Jun Xiaoyao had already treated the ultimate training ground, the world of the divine ruins, as the final game with God. One game to determine the winner. After coming up with the plan in his heart, Jun Xiaoyao was very relaxed and didn't feel nervous at all. He placed the ancient lotus seed that he had obtained from the Merit Hall into his inner universe and sank it into the spring of life. After the lotus seed sank into the spring of life, there wasn't much of a reaction. Jun Xiaoyao wasn't in a hurry and just left it there. Next, Jun Xiaoyao adjusted his breathing and prepared for the ultimate training. Late at night, the entire original imperial city was very quiet. The full moon in the sky was directly captured by the Almighty and placed above the imperial city's starry sky. Jun Xiaoyao, who was sitting cross-legged in his residence, suddenly opened his eyes and said indifferently, "Since you're here, show yourself." A tall, beautiful, and peerless figure appeared. Jun Xiaoyao raised his eyes indifferently and looked up from the slender, snow-white legs vaguely visible through the skirt. Finally, he fixed his gaze on the cold and aloof face that could topple the world. A dignified princess visiting in the middle of the night can easily cause misunderstandings. Jun Xiaoyao was still sitting cross-legged on the ground and said indifferently, "The visitor was naturally Ling Yan." She said with a cold expression, "You know why I'm here." "Why?" Jun Xiaoyao deliberately asked. "You." Ling Yan took a deep breath, and her jade peaks rose and fell slightly. She didn't know why, but in front of Jun Xiaoyao, she couldn't maintain that aloof attitude of looking down on the world. Perhaps it was because Jun Xiaoyao's status was not lower than hers at all. Or perhaps it was because the ill-fated fate of 100 lives in the reincarnation sea was still affecting her. "Remove the traces," Ling Yan said coldly. She was naturally referring to the traces left by Jun Xiaoyao between her legs. Every time she thought of this, she couldn't help but think of the ill-fated fate of 100 lives, which made it difficult for her Taoist heart to be completely calm. "So you're only referring to this. It's just a small punishment. This son of God doesn't like it when you threaten me with fairy yuan," Jun Xiaoyao said. "Then you're not afraid that I'll kill her. You can kill her, but you'll also have to be buried with her." Jun Xiaoyao picked up a cup of tea and gently blew on it before taking a sip. He said the most ruthless words in the most understated tone. What was Ling Yan's identity now? Young Emperor Xianting. Jun Xiaoyao was the only one who could speak to Ling Yuan in such a tone. Ling Yan clenched her jade-like hands. To be honest, if this wasn't the original imperial city, she really couldn't help but attack. "What do you want to remove it?" Ling Yan said coldly. Jun Xiaoyao pondered for a moment and saw a chessboard not far away. With a wave of his big sleeve, the chessboard fell between the two of them. "Let's play the next game. If you win, the traces will be erased. This son of God will bow and apologize. If you lose, sorry, I'll add one more stroke. Bring on. Do you think I'm afraid of you?" Ling Yan sat with her legs crossed, sitting on either side of Jun Xiaoyao. Although it was called a game of chess, it was obviously not just a game of chess. The game was Tao and reason. It was a game of understanding the Tao. In addition, it was a game of chess. Ling Yan's game was like Xianting. On Jun Xiaoyao's side, it was the Jun family. One was Xianting's young emperor, the other was the son of God of the Jun family. In a small game of chess, a game of chess began. After a night, Ling Yan's delicate body trembled slightly, and there was an abnormal flush on her jade-like face. It was a sign of extreme shame and indignation. In one night, she lost 6 games in a row. There were 6 more strokes on her inner thigh. What made her even more ashamed and angry was that the 6 strokes plus the previous stroke. It was exactly 7 strokes that made up the word June. The imprint on her inner thigh was very uncomfortable. What was this? Was she branded with Jun Xiaoyao's mark? After all, some female slaves would tattoo their masters' names on their bodies. An unprecedented humiliation filled Ling Yan's heart. She was the dignified Xianting's young emperor, but in the end, she was branded with Jun Xiaoyao's mark. If others knew about it, it would definitely set off a huge wave. Gu Tizi would probably be angry to the point of death. Jun Xiaoyao, I hope you can still be so calm in the world of the ruins of God. She knew that only Gu Tizi's game could truly destroy Jun Xiaoyao. Ling Yan left with a cold face. She didn't even dare to take big steps for fear of being noticed by others. She felt uncomfortable all over. Looking at Ling Yan's departing figure, Jun Xiaoyao picked up a chess piece and played with it between his fingers. So far, Tion hasn't been my opponent, let alone you. Chapter 841. As time passed, more and more Sky Prides gathered in the original Imperial City. Of course, compared to the Sky Prides who had embarked on the ancient road to the ultimate path, they were still one in a million. On the other side, on an ancient planet. The ancient planet that was originally covered by the Saint Power of Sun and Saint Power of Moon. Now, it had turned into a chaotic color. Vaguely, a terrifying chaotic energy was boiling. Is the Crown Prince about to succeed? In the starry sky outside the ancient planet, several elders of the Sun God Mountain looked at each other and saw the surprise in each other's eyes. After several months, the 10 princes of Jinwu finally made a move. Boom! At a certain moment, there was a loud explosion. The entire ancient planet began to tremble and split apart. The chaotic aura set off waves and destroyed the surface of the ancient planet. In the end, the chaotic aura that filled the entire ancient planet suddenly gathered and was sucked into the mouth of a powerful figure. That figure was the 10 princes of Jinwu, who had just broken out of seclusion. At this moment, the 10 princes of Jinwu's golden hair was scattered, and his pupils were no longer completely golden. Instead, one of them was golden and the other was silver. At the same time, the golden crow wings on his back were also golden and silver. They looked like the wings of heaven that could cut off the sky. The 10 princes of Jinwu had one hand wrapped around the moon and the other around the sun. Finally, they converged into a boundless chaotic tide. The aura was shocking. Congratulations, Your Highness, for coming out of seclusion. The elders of the Sun God Mountain were overjoyed. The 10 princes of Jinwu's face was still handsome, but it seemed to have become more feminine. He frowned and said, "Acquired chaotic body, but there are some flaws." The group of elders was slightly shocked, but they soon understood what was going on. The fusion of the moon and sun was a perfect acquired chaotic body. However, the 10 princes of Jinwu's fusion target was not alive. There were some flaws, but it doesn't matter. With my current strength, it's enough for revenge. The 10 princes of Jinwu shouted angrily. The expressions of the elders were a little strange. They felt that the 10 princes of Jinwu was different from before. Jun Xiaoyao, this prince will torture you to death. The 10 princes of Jinwu was filled with resentment and hatred. That was because this incident had left too much of a shadow in his heart. Just thinking about it made him feel nauseous. Therefore, it was difficult for him to summon his heroic spirit, and he had completely withered. The 10 princes of Jinwu's exit from closed-door training did not cause much of a stir, because now the entire ancient road's attention was focused on the original imperial city. In the past, the friction between the other side and immortal domain was only some small skirmishes. All the way until this time, when the new foreign emperor knocked on the pass, it was as if the first shot of the war between two realms was fired. And the ultimate smelting trial, the world of the divine ruins, was the beginning of the confrontation between the two worlds. It was a struggle between the kings of the younger generation. The battle was extremely important. It was not only related to the morale of the 9 heavens immortal realm. It was even more important for the safety of the border. Roughly a month later, there was news that spread throughout the original Emperor City. The ultimate smelting trial was finally about to open. Inside the Emperor's City, in an immortal residence, Jun Xiaoyao, who was sitting with his legs, opened his deep eyes. Is it finally going to start? Jun Xiaoyao let out a relieved sigh. The battle was extremely important to him, too. It was a game against the heavens. Master, the 4th Master Scar has sent someone here. He said he's gathering. Yu Chanwan came to inform Qin Nan. Jun Xiaoyao rose to his feet and left with Yu Chanwan. As for the Tying Jade Hair, she would not enter the world of the divine ruins. After all, it was too dangerous. She was only a little rabbit. She was only good at acting cute. If she really went to the battlefield, she would only be serving herself to the creatures of the other side. They might even sprinkle more cumin on her. Xiaoyao, this is the real challenge. Lord Grimm showed up too. Gu Tizi and the others won't give up so easily. Besides, the 7 Defiant Emperors are here too. Even if the enemy of the other side is right in front of them, they will still set us up. Jun Lingsong also showed up. and said with a frown. He didn't expect Gutizi and the others to take the big picture into consideration. Jun Xiaoyao's rule over the Xianting was a big hidden danger. After all, he was growing too fast. In the future, he might reach an unimaginably powerful realm and shake the authority of the Xianting. Don't worry about me. Everything is under my control. Jun Xiaoyao smiled, confident that victory was within his grasp. That's enough. After all, the Jun family can do without me and Mo Xiao, but we can't do without you. Jun Ling Song smiled faintly. An old man from the border came to guide Jun Xiaoyao and the others to a square in the depths of the original imperial city. The square was extremely large and could accommodate hundreds of thousands of people. At this moment, there were already many teams in the square. Each team was made up of warriors who had been through hundreds of battles. Their cultivation might not be the highest in the imperial city, but they were very experienced against the creatures of the foreign realm. The captain of each team was a quasi-supreme martial artist. They wore divine armor and sat on various ferocious war beasts. They were the grand knights of the gatekeeper families and the backbone of the resistance against the foreign realm. The geniuses who came here were puzzled when they saw these strong and ferocious teams. Wasn't this the ultimate trial for geniuses? Why would these grand knights and gatekeeper teams participate? Some geniuses vaguely felt that this trial might not be so peaceful. In the sky, the fourth master Scar stood calmly. Looking at the densely packed figures in the square below, he sighed slightly. He didn't know how many people could return safely this time. At this moment, as if he sensed something, the fourth master Scar looked into the distance and smiled. Jun Xiaoyao and the others had arrived. Their arrival naturally caused an uproar. Many looked at Jun Xiaoyao with reverence in their eyes. As long as Jun Xiaoyao was here, they felt that the world of the divine ruins should be stable this time. It was impossible for the foreign realm to have such a monstrous genius like Jun Xiaoyao. Jun Xiaoyao glanced around and saw this lineup. His brows furrowed. He knew that there was a special mission in this ultimate trial. Otherwise, these grand knights wouldn't be sent. After a short while, the descendants of the Xianting also arrived. Naturally, they attracted the attention of everyone. As the young empress of the Xianting, Ling Yin was naturally the most eye-catching existence. However, she wasn't the only one who attracted the attention. There was also the beautiful young girl beside her. Her eyebrows were like jade feathers, her skin was as white as snow, her waist was as white as silk, and her teeth were like seashells. Her face was almost perfect without the slightest flaw. A pair of long, slender, and perfectly straight legs were adorned with white stockings woven from snow jade silk. Her entire person was outstanding and otherworldly, like a peerless fairy, so beautiful that it was like a dream. It was heavenly maiden Yuan. Meanwhile, Fairy Yuan's eyes were locked onto Jun Xiaoyao, who was dressed in a white robe, despite being surrounded by countless people. One glance, 10,000 years. Young master, heavenly maiden Yuan couldn't help but tear up. The period when Jun Xiaoyao kidnapped the marriage could be said to be the most free and happy period of her life. Before that, she was merely a fish in the river of destiny, never able to escape the entanglement of fate. She was only fit to be Ling Yan's shadow, a tool. But Jun Xiaoyao's appearance was like a beam of light, illuminating her dark fate. Only then did heavenly maiden Yuan understand that falling in love with someone was such a blissful thing, even if she wasn't the only one in Jun Xiaoyao's heart, or even the most important. But it didn't matter. Heavenly maiden Yuan didn't care. To her, as long as she could look at Jun Xiaoyao, it was fine, even if it was just a glance. Heavenly maiden Yuan. Jun Xiaoyao's gaze also had a hint of complexity. When he kidnapped the marriage, he thought that he had saved heavenly maiden Yuan. Later, he realized that heavenly maiden Yuan was still hiding something. She was afraid that Ling Yuan controlled her life and death. If Ling Yan wanted her to die, she had to die. She couldn't escape Ling Yan's restraints at all. How sad was that? Don't worry, I will save you. This is my promise to you. Jun Xiaoyao was a little serious, which was rare. He rarely promised anything. Once he made a promise, he would never go back on it. Heavenly Maiden Yuan smiled. Her smile was beautiful, pure, and innocent. As long as Jun Xiaoyao said this, it was enough. She was satisfied, even if she might not have a chance. Chapter 842. Many sky prides looked at Jun Xiaoyao and Fairy Yuan, and then looked at the expressionless Gu Tizi. They suddenly felt that Gu Tizi was being cheated on. Enough. Gu Tizi took a step forward. As a woman who almost got married to him, how could she be so deeply in love with Jun Xiaoyao right now? He was being cheated on. If Ling Yin hadn't stopped him, Gu Tizi would have really tortured Fairy Yuan. Jun Xiaoyao, I didn't bring Yuan here for you to reunite, Ling Yin said. She meant that she had brought Fairy Yuan to witness Jun Xiaoyao's death with her own eyes. In this way, she could get rid of the ill-fated relationship in her heart. The humiliating Jun mark on her inner thigh could also be removed. Jun Xiaoyao didn't say anything. If there was a chance, he would definitely find a way to set Fairy Yuan free. In addition to the successors of the 9 immortal orthodoxies, there was also a group of Xian Ting sky prides following them. Jun Xiaoyao only glanced at him briefly before a cold smirk appeared on his face. Among the group of Xian Ting sky prides, he vaguely sensed a familiar aura. Immortal Slayer, Thief, Xian Yu. Jun Xiaoyao knew that Xian Yu was from the other domain. It would be troublesome for her to enter the original imperial city. But now, Xian Yu was hiding among the Xian Ting sky prides. Obviously, it was Gu Tizi and Ling Yan's doing. Based on this point alone, Jun Xiaoyao guessed that the 7 defiant emperors should have already met. They might have even reached some kind of joint plan. But this was even better. It was exactly what Jun Xiaoyao wanted, because in his plan, the 7 defiant emperors were indispensable. Jun Xiaoyao didn't expose them in public. He felt that he should be able to see the 7 defiant emperors appear at the same time in the world of divine ruins. Then, Feather King, Yu Yunchang, and the others arrived. Reincarnated Arhut Di, Yama Emperor, Yi Guqin, Junin Wang, Jun Qingyan, and the others were also there. Then, Long Yao the successor of the human immortal sect, Ji Daoi, and Ji Qing arrived. Their arrival had undoubtedly caused a commotion. Jun Xiaoyao glanced at Ji Daoi, Ji, Long Yao and the others. He had heard of Ji Daoi, the successor of the human immortal sect. Today was the first time they met. But before that, they had already formed a grudge. Now it seemed that Daoi was also very much. As for Ji, she didn't show any hostility. Jun Xiaoyao had always been wary of that woman. She was not a simple character after all. As for Long Yao's, her was she, her. She, her eyes. Hers Jun, su, hers, her long, and her yas. Hers her. Her originally cute, lowly face had also become devastatingly beautiful, and she was extremely beautiful. This kind of change from a lowly to an elder sister was indeed a bit shocking. Jun Xiaoyao's expression was calm. Long Yao's strength was no longer the same as before. However, Jun Xiaoyao never had much interest in a defeated opponent. It seems that you have forgotten the warning the Son of God gave you. Jun Xiaoyao looked at Long Yao. He had said before that if Long Yao dared to provoke him again, he would let her have a taste of what it was like to be a bitch. Hearing this, Long Yao's eyes revealed a hint of fear. After all, Jun Xiaoyao had already traumatized her greatly. But when he thought about the improvement of his strength and Gu Tizi's plan, he felt that it was too late. She regained her composure. Jun Xiaoyao, Long Yao will fight you fair and square. Otherwise, I will not be satisfied. Long Yao's purple hair fluttered in the wind. She raised her eyebrows and said resolutely, "Stupid." Jun Xiaoyao no longer paid attention to her. Didn't she just grow a bit taller and her breasts became a bit bigger? Did she become so confident? All right, it's about time. Even if some of the prodigies haven't arrived yet, you can head over later. Fourth Master Scar cleared his throat and said, at the center of the plaza, there was an incomparably ancient teleportation formation. At this moment, it was suffused with a hazy luster. All kinds of formation patterns danced in the air. An ancient and savage aura spread out. Many of the prodigies present revealed a bit of nervousness. Even though they had experienced the dangers of the ancient ultimate road and walked step by step to the original imperial city. But this time, what they had to face were the foreign creatures. That was a group of incomparably warlike existences with extremely powerful combat strength. At the same level, if they didn't have any special methods, immortal domain cultivators almost couldn't defeat the foreign creatures. They would be crushed in all aspects. This was also why every foreign invasion would cause irreparable destruction to the immortal domain. Of course, not all prodigies were nervous. The unmatched taboo level prodigies all had calm expressions. This originated from their confidence in their own strength. Even if they encountered the prodigies of the foreign king race, they wouldn't be afraid, confident that they could deal with them. Jun Xiaoyao's expression was even more calm. If the foreign creature's combat strength was heaven-defying, then Jun Xiaoyao's combat strength was at the heavenly Dao's loophole level, unparalleled throughout eternity. As for the soldiers guarding the pass, they all had resolute expressions. They had long disregarded life and death. "Let's go," Fourth Master Scar shouted. A desolate bugle horn sounded. Intense formation light drowned out the entire plaza. In the void, a giant wormhole appeared, turning into a deep and gorgeous spatial passage. Everyone in the plaza was instantly sucked in. Everyone felt a wave of dizziness, as if heaven and earth had been turned upside down. Countless stars in the surroundings quickly distanced themselves from them, forming streaks of flickering light. They seemed to have passed through time and space, crossing an extremely great distance. After an unknown amount of time, it seemed like an instant, but also like 10,000 years. When they came back to their senses again, the place in front of them was no longer the original imperial city. As far as the eye could see, it was a deep void, with only specks of light flickering in the depths of the universe. That is... A prodigy looked forward and was so shocked that he was speechless. All the prodigies also looked over. In front of them, chaotic energy surged, and an incomparably huge wall appeared. They didn't know how tall it was, how wide it was, or how long it was. It seemed to extend to the ends of the four poles. It was stained with mottled dark blood, and countless runes interweaved, filled with an ancient aura. What is this? Have we arrived at the end of the world? Could this be the realm wall at the end of the world? Many prodigies took a deep breath and guessed. They had heard some rumors that the end of the world was the realm wall. When Fourth Master Scar heard this, he shook his head and said, "No, this is just a wall." As soon as he said this, all the prodigies fell silent, their eyes filled with shock. This boundless existence that was like a plain wall was actually just a wall. This is the borderland. Beyond the borderland is the desolate border. Opposite the desolate border is the other side of the world, the foreign realm, a grand knight said in a deep voice. The prodigies were astounded. Their worldview had been refreshed today. The place they had arrived at was not the end of the world, but the vast borderland, the strongest line of defense in the nine heavens immortal realm. Chapter 843. Most of the time, imagination was very weak. Even these prodigies had heard countless times about how vast the border was. But when they actually came here in person, that kind of shock that came from the bottom of their hearts still made them stand on the spot, unable to come back to their senses for a long time. The border was ancient and majestic, as if it was built by an ancient god. Countless ancestors had bled here, and it was stained with mottled and dark blood. All kinds of terrifying runes interweaved on it, flickering with dazzling light. At this moment, all the prodigies who came to the border for the first time were silent. They stood on the spot, their expressions solemn. Jun Xiaoyao also sighed in his heart. He was not a person who easily stirred up emotions, but at this moment, he couldn't help but sigh in his heart. Is this the border that Father has always been guarding? Jun Xiaoyao muttered to himself in his heart. He said that he didn't want to be a hero, nor did he want to be a savior. But when he saw the border that Jun Wuhui guarded with his own eyes and saw the blood accumulated on the endless walls, he still raised his hand and bowed to the border. Seeing this, the prodigies present also followed Jun Xiaoyao and bowed to the blood-stained border. Even Gutizi and the others, who were enemies, also bowed under such circumstances. Seeing Jun Xiaoyao take the lead to bow, Fourth Master Scar's old eyes showed deep gratification. Benefactor, your son has a heart as sincere as yours. Fourth Master Scar sighed in his heart, and those guarding the border, as well as the Grand Knights, after seeing Jun Xiaoyao's performance, their favorability towards him skyrocketed. As expected of Lord Wu Hui's son, he is really sincere. Yes, in the future, he might be the second white-robed divine king, who will make the other side tremble in fear. Jun Xiaoyao didn't know that his actions of sighing with emotion had made these border soldiers have a good impression of him. All right, everyone follow me. Fourth Master Scar led everyone to the border. At a glance, the border couldn't be seen. Although it was called a city pass, it was actually more vast than a boundary wall. From time to time, the crowd could feel some powerful divine wills sweeping across the sky and probing their surroundings. Quasi-Emperor. Many people were shocked. This was definitely an expert of the Boundary Emperor level who was patrolling with his divine sense. However, this was understandable. After all, this was the front line of the border, so it was normal for a Quasi-Emperor to be there. Before long, the Fourth Master Scar stopped in his tracks. We've arrived at your ultimate training ground, the world of the divine ruins. Everyone held their breaths as they looked behind the Fourth Master Scar. Everyone was shocked by the scene before them. Even Jun Xiaoyao, who was always calm in the face of anything, had a flash of surprise in his eyes. It was because in front of them, the vast and boundless border pass that had stood tall since ancient times actually split apart, a section broken off. This made many geniuses feel suffocated and their hair stand on end. The vast and ancient border was incomparably sturdy and filled with all kinds of laws. Logically speaking, it should have stood tall for eternity without falling. However, there was now a crack in it, and there was a gap. The gap was as wide as an entire ancient star field. However, what shocked everyone was not just the gap in the border pass. It was more because there was a green lotus at the gap. It was a boundless green lotus that was almost as wide as an ancient star zone. This giant green lotus bloomed between heaven and earth, and wisps of chaotic energy fell from the lotus leaves. It was like a waterfall of the Milky Way flowing down. Huge stars dotted the surroundings of the lotus leaves like grains of sand. Almost all the geniuses present were disciples of immortal forces, and they had seen all kinds of big scenes. However, the scene before them still deeply shocked them. They were like country bumpkins who had just entered the city. No wonder. Jun Xiaoyao suddenly remembered what the executor of the ancient road had said on the buried emperor's star. The ultimate training ground was related to a mythical emperor. Could it be? While Jun Xiaoyao was immersed in his thoughts, the Fourth Master Scar said, "In history, the foreign realm has invaded our nine heavens immortal realm more than once. The most serious one was when more than one calamity-level immortal came from the foreign realm, bringing a great calamity to our realm. Even the border pass was breached, and a huge gap appeared." The Fourth Master Scar's heavy words echoed in the surroundings. The geniuses fell silent upon hearing this. Jun Xiaoyao's eyes flickered. The martial monarchs of the foreign realm were known as immortal emperors. Then what kind of terrifying existence was a calamity-level undying? Back then, the border pass was breached, and the situation was very dangerous. If the foreign realm had invaded, the Nine Heavens immortal realm would have had a hard time turning the situation around. In the end, a mythical emperor made his move. He used his body to block the gap and turned into a green lotus. It was the Lotus Emperor. The Fourth Master Scar's deafening words echoed in everyone's ears. As I thought, it's the ancient blue sky lotus. Jun Xiaoyao came to a realization. A mythical emperor was a legendary martial monarch. The ancient Orchid sect believed in the true master of ancient Orchid and the one-armed underworld king. The ancient Emperor Sakya that the Western sect believed in was also a martial monarch that had become a legend. That being said, Jun Xiaoyao had no idea if the Jun clan had a mythical emperor. The Jun clan had never told anyone about it. The Lotus Emperor is a green lotus nurtured in the chaos. When the border pass was in danger, the Lotus Emperor used his body to block the gap and formed his own realm. It's the giant green lotus you're looking at. Inside, it is the world of the ruins of God, which is also the Lotus Emperor's inner universe. Jun Xiaoyao was astounded by the fourth Master Scar's words. Jun Xiaoyao had his own inner universe, which had a diameter of 2 light years. However, the giant green lotus was more than 2 light years in diameter, not to mention that the range would be even wider after entering it. Jun Xiaoyao was moved. If he entered the world of the ruins of God, he would be able to comprehend the Lotus Emperor's laws and creation methods, which would be of great help to the evolution of his inner universe. At this time, the fourth Master Scar's expression became more serious. He cleared his throat and said, "Everyone knows this. As everyone knows, this ultimate trial will be different from the past. Because this time, the foreign world has discovered a fatal flaw in the world of the ruins of God. It is very likely that the world of the ruins of God will collapse, causing the gap to reappear." The fourth Master Scar's words were like a stone that stirred up 1,000 ripples, instantly setting off monstrous waves. What? The world of the ruins of God, created by the Lotus Emperor, is about to collapse. If that's the case, the gap will reappear, and the foreign army will march straight in. The place was in an uproar. The Lotus Emperor had formed a realm and blocked the gap at the border with great difficulty. If it collapsed now, the consequences would be unimaginable. Everyone saw that the gap was as huge as an ancient star field. Even if the defense line was reorganized, it would be difficult to defend. Otherwise, they could only sacrifice another myth emperor to block the gap. But the problem was, how could there be one? In this era, even great emperors were rarely seen, not often appearing in the world, let alone an emperor that had already become a legend. What was a legend? Only something that was illusory and indistinct could be called a legend. Taking another step back, even if there were myth emperors who would want to sacrifice their own Tao fruit, not everyone could be as selfless as the Lotus Emperor. After all, that level of powerhouse was already powerful to the point where it was unfathomable. Even if the immortal domain collapsed, they could still exist in this world, forming their own restricted area. This time, all of the heavenly talents' expressions became grave. The trial this time was indeed crueler than the previous ones. Then may I ask, Senior, is there a way to stop it? A heavenly talent cupped his hands and asked. Of course there is a way, or else I wouldn't have said so much to you all. The fourth Master Scar said, but his eyes looked towards Jun Xiaoyao. Clearly, he attached great importance to Jun Xiaoyao, placing all of his hopes on him. After all, Jun Xiaoyao's true strength far exceeded his cultivation realm. In the world of the ruins of God, it would be extremely useful. Chapter 844. The Azure Emperor used his body to create a world and blocked the gap at the border. Naturally, there are restrictions. Only those below the prime level can enter the world of divine ruins. In other words, the highest combat power in the world of divine ruins is quasi-prime. It is because of this that the world of divine ruins can block the top expert from the other side. Even if there are quasi-prime experts from the other side who want to sneak in, there is no need to worry about them being killed, the fourth Master Scar said. Jun Xiaoyao finally understood why the fourth Master Scar thought so highly of him. It was not only because he was the son of his benefactor. It was also because Jun Xiaoyao was able to fight against quasi-prime experts despite being a great sage. In the world of the ruins of God, this was simply a cheat-like existence. One could imagine how the great sage Jun Xiaoyao would feel when he unleashed a combat power that could fight against quasi-prime experts. The feelings of those creatures from the other side. It would probably be very satisfying. The fourth Master Scar continued. Do you know about the divine thoughts? I know. Divine obsessions are the inner demons and obsessions of emperor-level experts. When an emperor falls, there's a certain probability that they will be born, a prodigy said. That's right. The Azure Emperor is very noble. He used his body to create a world and blocked the gap at the border. However, he is not without obsessions. In the world of divine ruins, the Azure Emperor's 7 sin divine thoughts were left behind. There are 7 of them, and they are sealed in different secret places. If the 7 sin divine thoughts break the seal and merge into one, they will turn into a terrifying evil divine thought that will break open the world of divine ruins from the inside. The creatures from the other side have obviously noticed this. They are preparing to find the location of the 7 sin divine thoughts and release them. Your mission is to do your best to prevent the creatures from unsealing the sin divine thoughts. If you have the ability, it would be best if you can get rid of the sin divine thoughts, the 4th Master Scar said. The Ascendant King stepped forward and cupped his hands. Senior, you must be joking. The sin divine thoughts left behind by the Azure Emperor are definitely terrifying. How can we possibly have the ability to get rid of them? The Ascendant King's question made many prodigies nod their heads. A martial emperor's divine thought was already horrifying enough. At the very least, it was at the level of a quasi-emperor sufficient to cause a calamity. How could they possibly destroy a god's obsession with just these people? The 4th Master Scar said, "It doesn't matter. Inside the ruins of God, there are the rules of the world left behind by the Azure Emperor. Even if those divine obsessions break the seal, they will only have the cultivation of a quasi-supreme. However, when the 7 divine sins combine into one and form the complete divine sins of the 7 sins, the divine sins of the 7 sins can directly break the rules of the divine ruins and destroy it." At this point, everyone finally understood. The trial this time wasn't only about fighting against the foreign creatures. He also had to stop the foreign god of destruction's obsession from entering the sealed land. It would be best if he could get rid of the divine obsessions. However, when everyone thought about it, they knew that even if the strength of a single divine obsession was suppressed to that of a quasi-utmost exalt, but in any case, it was still an obsession left behind by the Myth Emperor. An ordinary quasi-supreme would probably not be a match for it. Wanting to destroy them was no different from a fantasy. That was why the only thing they could think about was how to disrupt the other side's plans, not allowing them to succeed. The atmosphere was somewhat stifling. Originally, facing the foreign creatures was already extremely dangerous. Now, there was also the divine sins of the 7 sins. It could simply be called the cruelest and most difficult ultimate trial in history. All right, you guys don't have to be afraid. These guards and Grand Knights will enter with you. Seeing that the atmosphere was a little gloomy, the 4th Master Scar cheered them on. Only then did the expressions of the prodigies look a little better. Those Grand Knights all had the cultivation of a quasi-utmost exalt. Obviously, the mission regarding the divine obsessions should mainly be done by these Grand Knights. Next, the prodigies whose names have been called, "Come forward," the 4th Master Scar said. Everyone was stunned. What was going on? Jun Xiaoyao. The first name that the 4th Master Scar called out was Jun Xiaoyao's name. Jun Xiaoyao's eyes flashed with a trace of light, and he took a step forward. Jun Lingcong, Gu Tizi, Ling Ascendant King. One by one, the names were called out by the 4th Master Scar. Jun Xiaoyao immediately noticed that those who were called out were all supreme prodigies of the forbidden level. After the names were called out, the 4th Master Scar said, "You prodigies are the elites of the elites. You can say that you're the seeds of our era. Next, you'll draw lots and be assigned to the Grand Knights teams. You'll assist them in destroying the foreign creatures' plans. This is also considered an iron-blooded trial for the top figures like you. As for the rest of the prodigies, kill as many foreign creatures as you can. However, there's no need to force yourself. Surviving is the most important thing." Hearing this, all the outlawed prodigies who were called out, including Jun Xiaoyao, looked very calm. This was a challenge for them, and also a form of training. Of course, if you can come back alive, you'll naturally be rewarded handsomely. As for the prodigies who were called out, if you can come back alive, there'll be immortal-level opportunities waiting for you. The 4th Master Scar's words instantly heated up the originally silent atmosphere. Especially when they heard about the immortal-level opportunities, Even people like Ling Yin and Gu Tizi could not help but have their eyes lit up. An immortal level opportunity was an opportunity inheritance related to immortals. It was extremely precious. If they could obtain it, they would definitely be reborn. They might even be able to use it to break through to the honorable stage. They're really putting in a lot of effort, Jun Xiaoyao thought to himself. All right, let's draw lots now, the fourth Master Scar said. Jun Xiaoyao and the others went forward to draw lots one by one. After the Grand Knights, they were divided into 7 teams. Each of them was responsible for searching for a god's obsession. At this moment, the 7 team leaders were all paying close attention. Although the outlawed prodigies were all very strong, there were still some differences between them. There was also a difference in temperament, and so on. Naturally, these Grand Knights did not want any weaklings with weak temperament or combat strength to join their teams. It'll be great if it's the Jun family son of God. Although the Jun family son of God is a great sage, he can fight against a quasi-honorable. Whichever team gets him will be in the bag. That's right. That's equivalent to having a combat strength close to that of a quasi-honorable. He'll definitely be able to change the situation and turn the tide at a critical moment. The warriors in these teams were all whispering to each other. However, almost every warrior in each team was looking at Jun Xiaoyao with a burning gaze. It was as if they were staring at some kind of peerless treasure. After all, Jun Xiaoyao's temperament and combat strength were both extremely heaven-defying. Some of the Grand Knights even felt that Jun Xiaoyao should not be much weaker than them. Therefore, in their eyes, Jun Xiaoyao was naturally a hot commodity. This made Gu Tizi, Ji Daoi, and the others look a little gloomy. They were all outlawed sky prides. Who was weaker than the other? Jun Xiaoyao, on the other hand, was welcomed by the Grand Knights. It seems that I've been in seclusion for too long. Ji Daoi felt a little uncomfortable. After all, his identity was special. He came from a forbidden clan above the 9 heavens. He was also the successor of the sect of human immortals. With such a status, he should not be inferior to Jun Xiaoyao. Jun Xiaoyao drew a lot and glanced at it. The Meng family's team. As soon as he finished speaking, a Grand Knight riding a single-horned battle mastiff laughed and walked toward Jun Xiaoyao. Ah, son of God, I'm Meng Zhan from the Meng family. Welcome to my team, son of God. Meng Zhan's face showed an honest smile. Meng Zhan, you're really lucky. The son of God has drawn your team. That's right. You guys will probably make a great contribution this time. The Grand Knights around them were all envious. Captain, you don't have to be so courteous. Jun Xiaoyao smiled faintly. The Kai family, Pang family, and Hong family were not the only families guarding the border. The Meng family was one of them. They had always been loyal to their duty. At this moment, a clear voice that sounded like the sound of nature was also heard. The Meng family's team. Everyone looked over with a strange expression on their faces. Ling Yin had drawn Meng Zhan's team as well. One of them was the young emperor of Xian Ting, and the other was the son of God of the Jun family. They could be said to be the most antagonistic characters. Yet, they were assigned to the same team. This was very strange. Chapter 845. Ling Yan's beautiful brows furrowed slightly, and her expression was somewhat displeased. Enemies were bound to meet. The Jun mark on her thigh still made her heart ache. Young Master Jun. Fairy Yuan also had a worried look in her eyes. She knew that Ling Yin, Gu Tizi, and the others must be plotting something in secret. Now that Ling Yin and Jun Xiaoyao were in the same team, wouldn't it be easier to plot against Jun Xiaoyao? Senior, I don't think this is appropriate. Why don't we rearrange the teams? Gu Tizi cupped his hands to fourth Master Scar. Naturally, he didn't want Ling Yin and Jun Xiaoyao to be in the same team. That won't do. Meng Zhan immediately objected. These 2 strongest youths of the younger generation were assigned to his team. How could he give up? Let's follow the rules. Fourth Master Scar shook his head slightly. It doesn't matter. How can I be weaker than others? Ling Yan's brows relaxed. She also wanted to compete with Jun Xiaoyao to see who was stronger. Sigh. Jun Xiaoyao sighed softly. What do you mean? Ling Yan raised her eyes slightly and snorted coldly. A burden and trouble, Jun Xiaoyao said truthfully. You? Ling Yin gritted her teeth. She could remain aloof to anyone except for Jun Xiaoyao, who could always make her lose her composure. Next, the teams were divided. Everyone obtained a merit point jade token, used to record the foreign creatures they killed. Creatures of different levels had different merit points. The higher the talent and the higher the status of the foreign creatures, the more merit points they would receive. Son of God, there might be foreign royal creatures in the world of divine ruins this time. They are more terrifying than ordinary foreign creatures, Meng Zhan said. They had been through hundreds of battles, so they naturally knew more about the foreign creatures than Jun Xiaoyao and the other prodigies. But correspondingly, the merit points will also be higher. If you kill a creature from the legendary Immortal Emperor clan, then the contribution points would be astonishing. Meng Zhan smacked his lips and said. However, he was just joking. The living beings of the Immortal Emperor clan were terrifyingly powerful. Their battle prowess was much higher than cultivators of the same level in the Immortal Realm. Even if they were from the younger generation, a quasi-supreme like him wouldn't be able to kill them. Furthermore, in a conflict of this level, there shouldn't be any life forms from the Immortal Emperor race appearing. Immortal Emperor race? I actually hope that they will show themselves. Jun Xiaoyao's eyes flashed. The foreign clans and powers, compared to Immortal Domain, weren't inferior in the slightest. The powerful beings of the general race, the 100 great royal races, the Immortal Emperor races, and so on. Jun Xiaoyao, on the other hand, wanted to see the top experts of the younger generation of the other side. Let's see how strong they are. All right, everyone, it's about time to depart. Fourth Master Scar waved his hand. His expression was somewhat solemn. Once these geniuses stepped into the world of the ruins of God, they could only rely on themselves. However, now that the chaos of the other side was about to rise, Immortal Domain didn't need flowers in a greenhouse. Without experiencing the test of blood and fire, how could they stand at the peak of this era? Rumble. The ferocious beasts under the great knights stepped across the river of stars. The crowd moved majestically, heading towards the world of the ruins of God. In the void, divine splendor surged. Spatial gates appeared one after another, leading to the interior of the giant green lotus, which was also the world of the ruins of God. The Meng family team Jun Xiaoyao was and also stepped inside. In an instant, the void distorted, light overflowed, and the world spun. When everyone's eyes became clear again, they couldn't help but look around. This was an expanse of pitch black, deep, and desolate starry sky. The broken celestial body was suspended within. All types of blood-stained stars, broken weapons, and giant white skeletons were scattered within. A wave of desolate and bleak aura pervaded the air. Everyone could smell a bloody aura at the tip of their noses. This is the world of the ruins of God. All of the geniuses who came here for the first time were shocked. They thought that the world of the ruins of God might be like the lower realm's 10 Earths, a giant continental space. To their surprise, it turned out to be a boundless universe. If they didn't sense it carefully, they would never realize the difference between the world of the ruins of God and the 9 heavens immortal realm. In fact, the only difference was that the chi of the heavens and earth in the world of the ruins of God was not as strong as the 9 heavens immortal realm. The rules were not as stable as the 9 heavens immortal realm either. However, it was already shocking enough. So, this is the inner universe of the mythical monarch? Since when did my body have such a world? Even Ling Yuan was a little absent-minded. Her jade-like hand grasped at the void, as if she was sensing something. Among all the geniuses present, Jun Xiaoyao was the only one who remained unfazed. There was a look of contemplation in his eyes. Son of God doesn't seem to be surprised. As a matter of fact, I was shocked for quite a while when I first came here. Meng Zhan smiled. Humph! Jun Xiaoyao chuckled. He did not say a word. He would not tell Meng Zhan that he already had such an inner universe inside his body. Even a pseudo-9 heaven supreme like Meng Zhan did not have an inner universe inside his body. As expected of the Azure Monarch, Even though there are still some rules of the Nine Heavens immortal realm inside his body, he has managed to evolve them into his own. Jun Xiaoyao thought, after carefully observing it. Since ancient times, the inner universes inside the bodies of most experts were evolved from the rules of the Nine Heavens immortal realm. After all, not everyone was like Jun Xiaoyao, who was able to carve out his own path, using his own Tao to develop his own universe. The Azure Monarch was a chaotic blue lotus that was born in the chaos of the Nine Heavens immortal realm. The inner universe of the Azure Monarch was evolved from the rules of the Nine Heavens immortal realm too. However, the Azure Monarch was able to slowly evolve the inner universe of the rules of the Nine Heavens immortal realm into his own. It was quite impressive. Even though the transformation was not complete in the end, it still inspired Jun Xiaoyao. In the future, I will definitely have an inner universe like this in my body. I will establish a divine kingdom so that all living beings will worship me. Ling Yan's beautiful eyes glittered. She looked at Jun Xiaoyao as if she was challenging Jun Xiaoyao. Jun Xiaoyao ignored her. If he wanted to compete, Ling Yan would have lost a long time ago. However, Jun Xiaoyao was not complacent. He knew that the difference between his inner universe and the Azure Monarchs was immeasurable. The world of the Nine Heavens immortal realm already had the rules of life. Jun Xiaoyao's inner universe was no match for it. By the way, the World Tree is one of my main goals. Jun Xiaoyao suddenly remembered his goal. The World Tree was too important to the growth of his inner universe. He turned to Meng Zhan and asked, Captain Meng Zhan, I heard that there is a World Tree in the Nine Heavens immortal realm. Where is it? Ling Yan looked over too. She was interested in the World Tree too. Meng Zhan said, I've heard about it. It seems to be in the deepest part of the Nine Heavens immortal realm. However, I heard that the Azure Monarch left a powerful seal there. No one can enter it. Jun Xiaoyao was not disappointed to hear that. If the World Tree was so easy to find, he would not have a chance. No one can enter it? Not necessarily. If I use that method. Jun Xiaoyao's eyes flickered as he fell into deep thought. He thought of a crazy method. Chapter 846. Jun Xiaoyao had to get his hands on the World Tree. No matter the price, he had to obtain it. If he missed this opportunity, he didn't know where he would encounter it again. As for that method, Jun Xiaoyao still needed to think about it thoroughly. What? Are you thinking about how to obtain the World Tree? What you should be thinking about now is how to leave the Divine Ruins world alive. Ling Yan glanced at Jun Xiaoyao and said indifferently, Noisy. Jun Xiaoyao ignored him. You. Ling Yan was furious again. Seeing this, Meng Zhan could only smile bitterly. He couldn't afford to offend either of these two people, so he could only pretend not to see and watch. Let's go. Meng Zhan waved his hand and said. The other geniuses also scattered in all directions, each with their own missions and choices. Gu Tizi, Ji Daoi, Long Yao and the others' gazes met in the void. They naturally had a plan to deal with Jun Xiaoyao, but not now. Xiaoyao, be careful. Jun Ling Tsang, Lord Grimm, and the others reminded. They were assigned to another team. Brother Jun, be careful, Feather Transformation King said. Jun Xiaoyao nodded at the few of them. He looked at Fairy Yuan again. She wasn't assigned to a team. Jun Xiaoyao's team had a mission, so they couldn't bring her along. Young Master Jun, take care. Fairy Yuan smiled. Jun Xiaoyao nodded, and then the team left. Looking at Jun Xiaoyao's departing figure, Fairy Yuan clenched her jade-like hands and swore in her heart. Yuan will definitely not let their plan to harm young Master succeed. Fairy Yuan seemed to have some kind of plan and decision in her heart, and just as the Immortal Regions team began to enter the Divine Ruins world, on the other side of the Divine Ruins world, outside the border pass, the monstrous mist was surging, and indistinct silhouettes were emerging. Some were in human form, some were in beast form, and there were even all kinds of indescribable and strange shadows. They were creatures from the other side. Meanwhile, within the other side's troops, there were similarly cries of shock that sounded. What? More than one branch of the royal family came for this operation? Even the Quasi-Emperor clan that the new immortal king belongs to has come? Exactly. The Lord Crimson Owl, king of the Crimson Owl clan, just knocked on the border of the immortal region some time ago. And I heard that Lord even fought that white-clothed god of slaughter from the June clan. This time, the young kings of the Scarlet Owl bloodline have arrived. I heard that they are going to continue the glory of the Scarlet Owl King, slaughter all the geniuses of the June clan of the immortal region, and raise the might of our world. That's nothing. It seems like the descendants of emperor bloodlines might appear. Now those ant from the immortal region are probably going to be dumbfounded. Haha, that's right. When we break the ruins of God, it will be the chance for our army to march in. The foreign troops also entered the world of the divine ruins in a grandiose manner. The kind of aura and killing intent was far too ferocious compared to the immortal region's side. The world of the ruins of God was vast and boundless. It was simply equivalent to a small universe. Even a quasi-supreme would not be able to travel to every corner of the godly ruins in a short period of time. Jun Xiaoyao, together with the Meng family's team, moved forward in the starry sky. The starry sky ahead was extremely bright. That was something like a sun releasing radiance. The corpse of an ancient golden crow. Jun Xiaoyao looked over and saw that it was a dead golden crow within the light. This couldn't help but make Jun Xiaoyao think of the 10 princes of Jinwu. He wondered how that miserable fellow was doing right now. Wait! At this time, Meng Zhan suddenly waved his hand, sensing something. The entire team immediately stopped, extremely vigilant. Up ahead was a white river flowing in the starry sky. No, that's not a river, but... Jun Xiaoyao's eyes narrowed. Those were shockingly sets of white bones. Endless white bones gathered into a heavenly river, flowing in the starry sky. It was hard to imagine just how many creatures died. Ling Yan's jade hand covered her red lips, also trembling a bit. This was also the first time she saw such a cruel battlefield. With so many corpses, I'm afraid that some inauspicious things will be produced. Meng Zhan said with a frown. This kind of situation, they were not surprised by it. Rather, it was Jun Xiaoyao's reaction that made Meng Zhan and the rest secretly nod their heads. Jun Xiaoyao was calm until he was simply like a general who had been on the battlefield for a long time. Sure enough, Meng Zhan's guess came true. Not far ahead was the source of the white bone heavenly river. That was a blood-stained demonic star, suspended in the dark universe. The entire star was interwoven with the color of blood and ghastly white bones, like a burial ground. The other side is warlike and cruel. Sometimes they will gather our world's creatures in one place and kill them. After that, the place of killing will overflow with resentment, becoming a demonic land. Meng Zhan clenched his fists, his eyes carrying coldness and anger. The other side's creatures deserve to be killed. Ling Yan's phoenix eyes released a cold light. This was just the divine ruins world, just a small battlefield, and it was already so cruel. That was the true border pass battle, the foreign battlefield. How bloody would it be? Corpses lying in the millions and millions was normal. That is, in the team, a team member with sharp eyes and special ocular arts suddenly cried out in surprise. He saw that on the blood-stained demonic star, there was a strange flower that was red with a hint of black growing. Countless wails of wraiths sounded in the surroundings. There was also thick soul force undulation shaking. That is, the underworld soul demonic flower, a flower that belongs to the dead. Meng Zhan's expression shook. This was a kind of great inauspicious thing. They had just entered the divine ruins world, and they already encountered this kind of thing. It was definitely not some good sign. Jun Xiaoyao looked over, but his eyes flashed. This underworld soul demonic flower fed on the remnant souls and resentment of countless creatures after they died, possessing boundless divine soul energy. This kind of strange object that was helpful to soul force. Jun Xiaoyao was still very interested. After all, his primordial spirit level already reached the unparalleled level. Wanting to advance further was also a bit difficult. If he refined the underworld soul demonic flower, it could greatly shorten the primordial spirit's advancement time. Jun Xiaoyao stepped forward, approaching that demonic star. Son of God, be careful. Meng Zhan shouted. Although he was the team leader, he was not qualified to restrict Jun Xiaoyao's actions. Boom! Rolling resentment, wailing, and howling turned into a tide of souls that surged toward Jun Xiaoyao. Ashes to ashes, dust to dust. I will avenge you. Jun Xiaoyao's primordial spirit activated, and a golden light shone. The Tathagata Sutra of the Three Lives Immortal Sutra was activated. A Mahavarakana Dharma idol appeared, purifying all souls and suppressing all evil. The tide of souls was instantly destroyed. The underworld soul demonic flower was suppressed by the Mahavarakana, and its petals trembled, letting out a shrill cry like a baby. Black gas rose, and the ominous power was being purified, as expected of the Son of God. Seeing this scene, Meng Zhan and the others were delighted. Jun Xiaoyao's primordial spirit was also peerless. But, just as Jun Xiaoyao was about to purify the underworld soul demonic flower, swoosh, a bloodstained steel fork pierced through the void, carrying a terrifying force as it charged toward Jun Xiaoyao. Jun Xiaoyao frowned and raised his hand. His fair palm was covered in divine patterns and dazzling symbols. The Kuan Peng divine power was used, and his palm shook out like a Kuan Peng swinging its tail. With a clang, the steel fork was sent flying. This kid has some skills. A group of densely packed figures appeared in the distant starry void. The foreign creatures have finally shown themselves? Jun Xiaoyao's expression was calm, and there was a hint of coldness in his eyes. Chapter 847. This group of foreign creatures all had different appearances. However, the only thing they had in common was that their auras were all extremely powerful. The one who took action against Jun Xiaoyao was a snake yiksha. The snake yiksha's entire body was made of steel and bones, possessing boundless strength. Behind him grew scarlet wings of flesh. However, his head was a snake head. A pair of snake eyes looked towards Jun Xiaoyao, incomparably cold. Foreign mongrel. Meng Zhan and the others immediately erupted with killing intent, locking onto the snake yiksha. It was because the snake yiksha was the most powerful among this group of foreign creatures, reaching the quasi-supreme realm. Brat, you can actually block this supreme being's move. You should be a seed of the immortal domain, right? If you are killed, there will be great rewards. The snake yiksha flicked out its snake tongue, its gaze carrying killing intent as it stabbed towards Jun Xiaoyao. It was the same as the immortal domain side. Killing foreign creatures gave contribution points. The foreign side naturally had a reward system as well. Jun Xiaoyao's appearance alone was enough to tell that he was no ordinary being. His white clothes were spotless, immortal splendor swirling about, as if he was the son of an immortal god. Even though the snake yiksha casually attacked just now, it was definitely not something a great sage could block. That was why it was clear that the snake yiksha knew that this was a top seed of heaven from the immortal domain. Jun Xiaoyao's expression was indifferent, declining to comment. Meanwhile, Meng Zhan instead shouted fiercely, courting death. The two sides met, no superfluous words spoken. Meng Zhan and the other quasi-supreme great knight surrounded the snake yiksha. As for the other sage realm cultivators, they began to fight with those foreign creatures. From the looks of it, you should also be a top figure of the immortal domain. TSK, soft skin and tender flesh. A mountain-like demonic figure targeted Ling Yan. That was an ape-like creature, its entire body covered in black fur, claws like pitch-black sickles. This was the foreign mandrill race. Even though it wasn't a king race, it was still a powerful race among general races. I've eaten more than one immortal domain female cultivator. That wonderful taste, unforgettable. The mandrill reached out its scarlet tongue and licked its sharp fangs, a vicious light flickering in its beast eyes. Die for me. Ling Yan's jade-like face was filled with anger. She lifted her palm, and a vast amount of mana burst forth. The mandrill's expression changed slightly. No, you're also a seed-level character, Mandrill exclaimed. According to their common sense, although the immortal domain was weak, there were still some top-notch figures. Among the younger generation, The ones who made the other side feel the most restraining fear were precisely Immortal Domain's seed-level figures. Rumble. The battle immediately began, and there was no room for negotiation. Naturally, Jun Xiaoyao was targeted as well. 3 Great Saint Realm foreign creatures locked onto him at the same time. They also knew that Jun Xiaoyao had something up his sleeve, so he would not fight alone. I heard that you guys from the other side are all competitive, but in the end, you guys are still a bunch of trash who only know how to surround and attack. Jun Xiaoyao said indifferently. Killing a seed-level individual like you is already a great contribution. Die. A foreign creature shouted coldly. His entire body was branded with evil runes. Those runes actually looked like eyes. It was extremely bizarre. As he activated his evil technique, the evil eye runes on his body actually began to squirm as if they were alive. Then, they shot out pitch-black beams of destruction. No matter how bizarre he is, he's only a great saint. If we attack together, this brat will definitely die. Another foreign creature roared out. It was a strange creature with the body of a Qilin and the tail of a snake. Its entire body was pitch-black. This was the Qilin snake clan. It was a hybrid bloodline between a dark Qilin beast and a demonic snake. Although there was a qualitative difference between a Qilin beast and a Qilin, this hybrid Qilin snake was extremely powerful. When it opened its mouth and roared, the void was about to be destroyed. The final foreign creature that was surrounded and killed looked like an extremely beautiful woman. However, her lower body had eagle claws and feathers. This was the Harpy Demon Clan of the other side. They specialized in sound waves and soul abilities. There was once a cultivator from the Immortal Domain who was brainwashed by the Harpy Demon's demonic voice. Their souls were controlled, and they turned to kill each other. In short, although these 3 clans were not royal creatures, they were all very powerful. At this moment, they were all surrounding and attacking. Ordinary perfected great saints would be in danger. However, when the attacks of the 3 foreign creatures landed on Jun Xiaoyao at the same time, Jun Xiaoyao was stunned. Jun Xiaoyao's expression was calm, and he did not do anything. Is this brat stupid? The Qilin snake said. In the past, on the side of the Immortal Domain, there was no lack of hotheads who had just entered the battlefield. They were frightened by the ferocious power of the other side, but their Dao hearts were all destroyed. When Meng Zhan and the others saw this, their hearts tightened, but they did not say anything. They knew that Jun Xiaoyao was definitely not the kind of person who would cower in the face of danger. Boom! The methods of the foreign creatures drowned Jun Xiaoyao. Just as the Qilin snake and the other creatures were puzzled, feeling that this seed-level prodigy did not live up to his name. Swoosh! An extremely fast shadow directly landed beside the foreign creature whose entire body was branded with evil runes. Then it threw out a simple punch. Pooh! The foreign creature's body exploded like a watermelon, flesh and blood splattering everywhere. Even his primordial spirit was directly annihilated by that punch. First one, a casual and indifferent voice sounded. Jun Xiaoyao's figure appeared, his white clothes spotless. With a flash of his feet, he continued to attack the Qilin snake. Ew, how is this possible? The Qilin snake and the Harpy's expressions changed at the same time. One had to know that in the same level, the foreign creatures were stronger than the cultivators of the Immortal Domain. They were all great saints. Logically speaking, the 3 of them together should be enough to kill this great saint seed from the Immortal Domain. But in the end, one of them was directly killed. Naturally, they did not know that their divine abilities, just now, could not even break through Jun Xiaoyao's dermic power immunity. Good. When the Meng family warriors saw this, their eyes were filled with excitement. With Jun Xiaoyao around, their team would be much safer. Seeing this, Ling Yan only snorted. She activated the sacred body of Empress Hua, and a powerful dermic power pressed down, killing the Pishio. Obviously, she wanted to compete with Jun Xiaoyao to see who could kill more foreign creatures. On the other side, Jun Xiaoyao pointed out a finger. The incomparably thick lightning emperor's finger was like the finger of the thunder god, crushing down from the void with endless lightning. The Chelan snake roared and activated a foreign dermic power, but it was still directly suppressed and killed. Not good. The harpy's face was pale. She opened her mouth and let out a demonic sound. At the same time, she spread out her arms and turned them into wings to retreat. This sea-level figure was too strange. He was much stronger than they had imagined. Can you escape? The demonic sound did not affect Jun Xiaoyao at all. He used his fingers as a sword, and torrential sword qi surged like a tide. A terrifying scene of an immortal falling appeared. Immortal slaying sword art. Puffed. The harpy was split into two, and her primordial spirit was directly destroyed by the sword qi. In the blink of an eye, the three terrifying foreign creatures of the great saint realm were all killed. At this moment, even the pupils of Anaga Yiksha, who was fighting with Meng Zhan and the others, suddenly shrank, revealing a look of shock. At the same cultivation level, a foreign creature could almost fight with 2 or 3 cultivators of the celestial realm. However, Jun Xiaoyao had single-handedly killed all 3 of the great saint realm beings from another realm. Was it the other way around? In the end, who was the most ferocious party? However, before everyone could be shocked, Jun Xiaoyao continued to attack without any intention of stopping. He was like a wolf in a flock of sheep. When he saw a foreign creature, he used his sword finger. The immortal slaying sword qi surged and spread out like a sea. Almost no foreign creature of the same level could withstand his sword. Even if there were, then he would just add another sword strike. As Jun Xiaoyao continued to kill, the number of points in his jade talisman increased as well. However, Jun Xiaoyao did not mind at all, as he was not there to kill his enemies for merit points. As expected, dark matter. Jun Xiaoyao was thinking as he killed. The bodies of these foreign creatures were all more or less contaminated with some dark matter. This dark matter was very strange. Its origin was unknown, and it seemed to be related to some kind of great secret of heaven and earth. Supreme Yuan Tian, the mythical Dharch worshipped by the Naga race, and goddess Luo Shenmi, Fei, had all been contaminated by this matter. Jun Xiaoyao felt that if he wanted to unravel the secret of this dark matter, he would probably have to make a trip to the foreign realm. Just as Jun Xiaoyao was thinking, a cold shout rang out. How dare you kill so many creatures of my world? You are courting death. On the other side, there were Saint Lord-level creatures who targeted Jun Xiaoyao and wanted to personally kill him. Chapter 848. This Holy Lord-level expert who took action against Jun Xiaoyao was a middle-aged man dressed in a black robe with a sinister face. However, there were 2 blood-colored goat horns on his head. In some witch race legends, the goat was the symbol of the devil. This was an Abyss Demon race Holy Lord-level expert. Even though the Abyss Demon race wasn't a king race, they were still a top general race below the king race. The foreign races were like a pyramid with a strict hierarchy. Slave race, general race, king race, top king race, half-emperor race, undying emperor race. It could be said that even the creatures of the general race were a level higher than immortal domains cultivators on average. As for the king race, emperor race, and others, there was even less of a need to talk about them. A seed like you needs to be eliminated. The Abyss Demon race Holy Lord's expression was cold as he rushed towards Jun Xiaoyao. He knew very well how monstrous immortal domain's seed was. If he was allowed to grow, he would at least become a great emperor in the future. He would be a great threat to the other side. Hurry and stop him. When Meng Zhan saw this, he roared out. Even though Jun Xiaoyao had fought against a half-supreme being in the original Emperor City. However, in everyone's eyes, it didn't mean that Jun Xiaoyao could truly defeat a half-supreme being. They believed that Jun Xiaoyao should only barely be able to fight against a half-supreme being. Meanwhile, the foreign Holy Lord-level experts were much stronger than those of the same cultivation realm. Compared to immortal domains half-supreme beings, they weren't much weaker. Therefore, Meng Zhan naturally didn't want Jun Xiaoyao to take risks. On the Meng family side, there were several Holy Lords who wanted to take action, but they were temporarily stopped by the foreign Holy Lords. Meng Zhan and the other half-supreme being were also stalled by the Snake Yiksha, unable to leave at all. Kiki, your immortal domain seed is about to fall. The snake Yiksha spat out its snake tongue and said with a cold laugh. Meng Zhan's expression was cold. He could only hope that Jun Xiaoyao could stall for some time until they were free to rescue him. It seems like no one will come to save you. The Abyss Demon Race Holy Lord locked onto Jun Xiaoyao and reached out a large hand to kill Jun Xiaoyao. Who do you think you are? You're so ordinary, yet so confident. It would be foolish to measure Jun Xiaoyao's strength based on his cultivation level. The foreign Holy Lords were a bit stronger than the immortal domain Holy Lords. But in Jun Xiaoyao's eyes, it was just that. With his talent, cultivation, and strength, if he still couldn't kill a Holy Lord, then he would be a little weak. You're courting death. The Abyss Demon Race's sacred leader's palm pressed down like a black sky. He was a dignified Holy Lord, yet he had been called ordinary? This was too heart-wrenching. Jun Xiaoyao. Ling Yin glanced at Jun Xiaoyao. For some reason, he felt a little nervous in his heart. There was even a slight feeling of wanting to help. It's that ill-fated fate again. Ling Yin suppressed his thoughts. Logically speaking, she should be gloating when she saw that Jun Xiaoyao was in danger. After all, Jun Xiaoyao was a thorn in her side, a thorn in her flesh, and a sworn enemy. But now, she didn't feel that way at all. He's going to die in the hands of Gu Tizi. He can't die in the hands of the foreign beings. Ling Yin found an excuse for herself. Then, she activated the sacred body of Empress Hua. A terrifying aura erupted, and her hair danced wildly. Like a beautiful female immortal king, she raised her palm and was about to kill the Abyss Demon Race's sacred leader. But in the next moment, Ling Yin paused. Jun Xiaoyao's body shook, and his surging blood qi crossed the sky like a dragon. Zenith Heaven Immortal Body activated. Inside his body, every cell was shaking like a world, bursting out with vigorous power. The power of 260 Sumeru worlds was activated. Jun Xiaoyao raised his hand and clenched his fist. The Kuan Peng Infinite Divine Fist with extreme power was unleashed. The fist collided with the Abyss Demon Race's sacred leader's palm. Rumble. The void shook, and the dermic power was vast and mighty. Some of the scattered stars around were instantly shattered into ashes. A loud bang was heard. The sound of an explosion rang out. The Abyss Demon Race's sacred leader screamed. The arm that he stretched out was directly shattered by Jun Xiaoyao's punch. Dead silence. Absolute dead silence. Even in such a brutal battle, some members of the Meng family and beings from other realms could not help but look at Jun Xiaoyao with shock in their eyes. They could accept that Jun Xiaoyao could instantly kill a foreign being of the same level. After all, he was a seed of the celestial realm. But the one who had attacked was a Holy Lord-level powerhouse. And it was a foreign sacred leader who was even stronger than the ordinary sacred leaders of the celestial realm. However, Jun Xiaoyao had destroyed one of his arms. You? What kind of monster are you? The Abyss Demon Race's sacred leader's expression was twisted in shock. Even an expert like him was shocked to the extreme. Even the prodigies of the foreign royal families might not be so powerful, right? Jun Xiaoyao attacked again, and powerful sword intent surged. In the surrounding void, jade-like blades of grass rippled and stretched. As the leaves shook, monstrous sword energy surged, as if it could cut down the stars in the outer realm. Grass symbol sword technique. The Abyss Demon Race's sacred leader was surrounded by the grass symbol sword chi. An unprecedented sense of death enveloped his mind. The Abyss Demon Race's sacred leader would never have thought that this sense of death was brought to him by a young man from the celestial realm. Brat, don't be so arrogant. The Abyss Demon Race's sacred leader was very angry. The two blood-colored goat horns on his head directly separated and turned into two blood-colored heavenly swords that slashed toward the grass symbol sword chi. Blood-colored demonic light surged. Dark Curse Palm. The Abyss Demon Race's sacred leader used his other intact arm to perform an ultimate move. He knew that this young man could no longer be judged by common sense. He could only use an ultimate move to kill him in one move. Jun Xiaoyao's 5 fingers closed, and the grass symbol sword chi in the surrounding void also closed, instantly slashing out millions of swords. The blood-colored flying sword formed by the goat horn shattered. Jun Xiaoyao used the 6 paths of reincarnation fist again, and all kinds of reincarnation runes flew out like 6 ancient universes crushing toward the Abyss Demon Race's sacred leader, together with the power of 260 Sumeru worlds. The Abyss Demon Race's sacred leader felt like his physical body was about to explode. There was a loud explosion. The Dark Curse Palm was destroyed. The Abyss Demon Race's sacred leader's physical body exploded. However, at this moment, a streak of black light shot toward Jun Xiaoyao's forehead at lightning speed. It wanted to take over his body. "Brat, your physical body is too terrifying. If I take over your body, I'll definitely be able to become an immortal king in the future." The Abyss Demon Race's sacred leader's essence soul screamed and shot toward Jun Xiaoyao's forehead like a black arrow. "Son of God, watch out!" Meng Zhan and the others yelled. This scene happened so suddenly that it was impossible to guard against it. "Watch out!" Ling Yin also instinctively shouted. Jun Xiaoyao's eyes revealed a hint of coldness and mockery as he allowed the Abyss Demon Race's sacred leader's essence soul to pierce his forehead. This scene made everyone in the Meng family's team feel a chill in their hearts. Ling Yin's delicate body also trembled. She couldn't describe what she was feeling. Naga let out a hoarse laugh. The fall of the Immortal Realm seed was a great merit. However, what they didn't know was, at this moment, in Jun Xiaoyao's essence soul, the Abyss Demon Race's sacred leader's essence soul was stunned. He stared at the 3 flowers of the great Tao that emanated the aura of time, completely dumbfounded. He had never seen such a powerful essence soul. It was so powerful that it made people despair. The power of the essence soul was as boundless as the sea, vast and turbulent. It was even much stronger than the primordial spirit of a holy lord. "How dare you take over the son of God's body? You're courting death." Jun Xiaoyao's essence soul, who was sitting cross-legged on the Tao flower, revealed a cold expression. Boundless essence soul power, 3 lives essence soul, and the 3 lives immortal sutra that specialized in cultivating the essence soul. Wasn't this Abyss Demon Race's sacred leader courting death? Boom! The primal chaos divine grindstone appeared, stained with mottled fiend god blood, and crushed the Abyss Demon Race's essence soul. No! The Abyss Demon Race's sacred leader howled. It was filled with extreme despair. Not only did he have to die, but he also had to endure the extreme pain of his soul being crushed inch by inch before he died. If he had known this would happen, he would have died just now. It would have been better. In the outside world, Jun Xiaoyao stood motionless on the spot. Meng Zhan's eyes were about to split open. His aura erupted as he viciously attacked Naga. "Die for me." Meng Zhan and another Grand Knight of the Meng family went completely berserk as they surrounded Naga. Although they didn't have to directly bear the responsibility of Jun Xiaoyao's life and death. But seeing the legend of the border, Jun Wuhui's descendant, die in accident, they still couldn't accept it. Despair. When the powerhouses of the heavenly demon royal family arrive, that will be the time for you to truly despair. Naga roared with laughter. He had also suffered heavy injuries from fighting with 2 quasi-supremes. But when the heavenly demon royal family that he was loyal to arrived, everything would be over. At this moment, Jun Xiaoyao's figure suddenly moved. He swept toward Naga, Meng Zhan, and the others who were fighting with their lives on the line. Meng Zhan's face darkened slightly. He thought that the Abyss Demon Race's sacred leader had succeeded in possessing him. Naga said, "Since you've possessed this immortal realm seed, you should leave first." However, just as Naga's voice fell, he suddenly sensed that something was wrong. Jun Xiaoyao's lips curled into a cold smile. With a flip of his hand, the great desolate halberd filled with killing intent appeared in his hand. Without saying a word, he activated this quasi-emperor weapon with supreme offensive power and slashed it down on the injured Naga Yiksha. Chapter 849. Damn it, you brat. The snake Yiksha was furious. Only then did he realize that Jun Xiaoyao had not been possessed. Meng Zhan and the others were overjoyed. Ling Yuan, who was not far away, heaved a sigh of relief when she saw this. The great desolate halberd carried a savage, killing intent as it cut through the universe. It was as if it could split the primordial wilderness. This was a sub-thearch weapon that specialized in killing. It was extremely powerful. The reason why Jun Xiaoyao rarely used it was because there was no need for him to use the quasi-emperor weapon. But now, he suddenly attacked and wanted to kill this injured sub-thearch with his own hands. Die? Jun Xiaoyao said indifferently. You're asking for it, you ant. The snake Yiksha's dermic powers surged. Although he was injured, he was still a sub-thearch. Even if Jun Xiaoyao killed the Abyss Demon race's sacred leader, the snake Yiksha did not think that he could threaten him. The crimson wings on the snake Yiksha's back flapped, and countless Tao patterns shot out. They twisted like poisonous snakes and turned into a surging tide that blasted toward Jun Xiaoyao. The void in front of him shattered. Even a giant ancient star would be reduced to dust in the middle. This was the snake Yiksha's innate mystique. When used by a sub-thearch like him, its power could destroy heaven and earth. However, Jun Xiaoyao's great desolate halberd slashed down. Like a pair of scissors cutting through cloth, it split the snake Yiksha's attack in half. Seeing this, the snake Yiksha stabbed its blood-stained steel fork toward Jun Xiaoyao. Clang! A deafening sound of metal clashing rang out. The great desolate halberd's blade shone brightly as it struck the steel fork. Break! Jun Xiaoyao activated the boundless might of the saint body as soon as he finished speaking. At the same time, the sacred body avatar, the reverence of 10,000 saints, appeared. Although it was called the reverence of 10,000 saints, its power increased with Jun Xiaoyao's improvement. The ferocious pressure once again suppressed the already injured Naga Yiksha. A cracking sound was heard. The steel fork shattered, and the great desolate halberd's incomparably sharp blade chopped down from the top of the snake Yiksha's head, splitting it in half. The snake Yiksha's primordial spirit didn't even have time to escape before it was also shattered. The unique destructive power of the great desolate halberd shattered the snake Yiksha's body and essence spirit. When they saw this scene, all of the foreign creatures here shivered in fear. They were originally the most arrogant, ferocious, cruel, and belligerent. But now, their faces were filled with fear, as if they had fallen into an ice cave. Even their souls felt like they were about to be frozen. A great sage had killed a quasi-supreme. Even if it was a surprise attack, it was still shocking enough that it was completely unbelievable. Motherfucker, isn't this a bit too much? A foreign creature said in a stupefied manner. Even the seed-level prodigies of the immortal realm wouldn't be so terrifying, right? Or could it be that their intelligence was outdated? Or could it be that this handsome yet decisive man in white was actually a quasi-supreme martial artist and was merely pretending to be weak to eat a tiger? Anyway, this group of foreign creatures' minds were in chaos, incomparably terrified. This fella, Ling Yin, was also stunned, a bit of astonishment appearing on her beautiful face. Even she had no choice but to admit it. Right now, holding the great desolate halberd in one hand, the Jun Xiaoyao who hacked down the foreign quasi-supreme martial artist was indeed a bit handsome. She now suddenly felt that Gu Tizi's plan didn't seem that perfect. It was because no matter how much he overestimated Jun Xiaoyao's strength, in the end, he still underestimated him. Jun Xiaoyao's expression was extremely calm, not feeling any complacency from killing a quasi-supreme martial artist. When dealing with a quasi-supreme martial artist at his peak condition, Jun Xiaoyao indeed couldn't kill him so cleanly and directly. However, when dealing with an already seriously injured quasi-supreme martial artist, moreover taking action so suddenly, the snake Yiksha being killed was also extremely normal. The rest of the battle ended very quickly. It had to be said that the foreign creatures were still a bit fierce and belligerent. Even though they were stunned by Jun Xiaoyao, in the end, they still fought with everything they had. Of course, in the end, they all died. Having lost their quasi-supreme martial artist leader, it was almost impossible for them to make a comeback. Jun Xiaoyao's white clothes fluttered in the wind. Holding the great desolate halberd in his hand, he killed in all directions. Even the foreign Holy Lord level experts couldn't block more than a few moves from him. Ling Yin, on the other hand, lost the mood to compete with Jun Xiaoyao. After all, Jun Xiaoyao killing a quasi-supreme martial artist was enough to match her killing dozens of great sages. In the end, the entire starry sky. All kinds of broken bones, dregs, broken limbs, and blood scattered in all directions, although most of them were from the foreign creatures. However, there was also a small portion from the Meng family's team. Meng Zhan and the others were used to this. After paying their respects for a while, they sorted out their emotions. Thank you, Son of God, this time. If it wasn't for the Son of God's sudden attack, that Snake Yiksha should have been able to escape in the end. Meng Zhan cupped his hands towards Jun Xiaoyao and smiled sincerely. The two Grand Knights could fight with the Snake Yiksha, but it was difficult to kill it. If the Snake Yiksha couldn't win, it could still run. However, Jun Xiaoyao's sudden attack made the Snake Yiksha careless. It didn't expect Jun Xiaoyao to be so strong. Originally, it was them who wanted to protect Jun Xiaoyao. In the end, it was Jun Xiaoyao who established this victory. Captain, there's no need to be like this. This is what I should do. Jun Xiaoyao smiled. He indeed didn't take this to heart. It's really lucky to have the Son of God join our team. The Meng family's warriors all rejoiced as they surrounded Jun Xiaoyao. As for Ling Yin, she stood alone on the side. Her slender and graceful figure was like a celestial flower. She crossed her arms in front of her chest and snorted coldly with a cold expression. You wanted to help me just now? Jun Xiaoyao suddenly looked at Ling Yin, his eyes very deep. I just think that no matter what, you shouldn't die in the hands of a foreign creature. Ling Yan's expression was slightly sluggish. She snorted coldly, turned her pretty face to the side, and prevaricated. Being stared at by Jun Xiaoyao like this, she felt uncomfortable all over, as if she was seen through. Jun Xiaoyao retracted his gaze, deep in thought. Why did this cold empress become so arrogant in front of him? Was it because of the reincarnation sees love fate that affected Ling Yin? Jun Xiaoyao secretly thought, but he didn't care. Ling Yin was still an enemy and opponent. There was no doubt about this. Subsequently, Jun Xiaoyao collected the Hell Spirit Demon Flower. This Hell Spirit Demon Flower had been purified by Jun Xiaoyao's Vairocana Dharma form, leaving only pure soul power. After refining this Hell Spirit Demon Flower, the level of my essence spirit should take a big step toward the eternal sand level, Jun Xiaoyao thought. Meng Zhan stepped forward and said, Son of God, during the battle, the Snake Yiksha revealed a piece of information. The heavenly demon royal family might appear. The foreign royal family? Jun Xiaoyao murmured. Just the Snake Yiksha, the abyss demon race, and other creatures of the general race were already so powerful. Then wouldn't the royal family be even more powerful? That's right, the heavenly demon royal family is one of the 100 royal families of the foreign domain. I heard that in the younger generation, there are 8 top prodigies, known as the 8 heavenly demon knights. The 8 of them together have the record of seriously injuring a quasi-supreme. Meng Zhan's expression was very serious. Even if he was a true quasi-supreme, it would be very dangerous if he encountered the 8 young experts of the heavenly demon royal family. The 8 heavenly demon knights? Jun Xiaoyao's lips curled into a cold smile. He was used to being invincible in the younger generation of the celestial realm, and he also wanted to know how powerful the foreign young kings were. Chapter 850. Meng Zhan explained to Jun Xiaoyao. Generally speaking, a foreign royal clan might have many general clans under their command. The Snake Yiksha race, the superior of the Abyss Fiend race, was one of the foreign 100 great royal clans, the Sky Fiend royal clan. Although this clan did not rank among the top 10 royal clans, it was still terrifyingly powerful. Now, Jun Xiaoyao, Meng Zhan, and the others had killed the Snake Yiksha group of creatures. This would naturally alarm the Sky Fiend royal clan. If it were in the past, Facing the Sky Fiend royal clan, Meng Zhan might still have a trace of apprehension. But now, for some reason, with Jun Xiaoyao here, he felt much more at ease. Next, Meng Zhan and the others continued forward. They still had a main goal, which was to find the Seven Sins God obsession. Compared to killing foreign creatures, finding the Seven Sins God obsession was their main mission, the most important. Originally, the people of this team were all very respectful towards Jun Xiaoyao. After this battle, they were even more incomparably respectful towards Jun Xiaoyao. It was to the extent that Jun Xiaoyao's authority and status were even higher than Captain Meng Zhan's. Ling Yin, on the other hand, was somewhat left out. It was not that her battle achievements were lacking, it was just that compared to Jun Xiaoyao, it seemed a bit dim. Only now did Ling Yin understand why so many people in the celestial realm wanted Jun Xiaoyao to fall. After all, this feeling of having one's glory stolen was not pleasant. This world of great competition seemed to be Jun Xiaoyao's stage alone. Most of the glory fell on him. Looking at Jun Xiaoyao's handsome side profile that always did not carry any expression, Ling Yin suddenly felt that Jun Xiaoyao should be quite lonely. After all, so many people wanted him to die. Even the heavens wanted him to die. Bah, what am I thinking? Actually sympathizing with this despicable guy. Ling Yin came back to her senses and secretly spat. This despicable guy did so many excessive things to her, even leaving an exclusive imprint on her thigh. She hated him too much. Jun Xiaoyao was naturally unaware of Ling Yan's inner drama. He checked his merit points, Jade Talisman, and found that he had gained a large amount of merit points. Evidently, the Snake Yiksha's contribution points had also been pocketed by Jun Xiaoyao. It wasn't that Jun Xiaoyao deliberately stole the kill, but that was the only way to kill the Snake Yiksha and prevent him from escaping. Captain Meng Zhan, don't we know where the divine obsession is sealed? Jun Xiaoyao suddenly asked. Meng Zhan shook his head and said, Son of God, you don't know that the place where the God's consciousness is sealed is not fixed in one place. Instead, it changes locations irregularly. This is also the reason why it is so difficult for the other side to find the sealed land. Jun Xiaoyao suddenly understood. The Azure Emperor must have sensed it as well. He knew that the remnant will of the Seven Sins God might cause a huge disaster in the future. That was why they used the method of changing the location of the seal to prevent outsiders from noticing. Unfortunately, they were still discovered by the other side in the end. Just as Jun Xiaoyao was thinking about how to find the sealed land of the divine obsession, suddenly, in the spring of life in his inner universe, the simple lotus seed that Jun Xiaoyao had overlooked trembled slightly. Jun Xiaoyao was keenly aware of that as well. The next moment, he sensed a wisp of aura that wasn't too far away from this star field. Could it be? Jun Xiaoyao thought of something. Could that wisp of aura be the location of the closest divine obsession to him? Jun Xiaoyao was rather baffled by what he saw. Then he understood. This simple lotus seed was actually related to the Azure Emperor. In the beginning, there was nothing special about the simple lotus seed. Even the big shots of the Merit Hall couldn't detect anything special about it. However, after soaking in the spring of life for a period of time, it seemed to have gradually revealed some kind of ability. Thinking of this, Jun Xiaoyao's eyes flashed, and he said, Captain Meng Zhan, why don't we go in that direction and have a look? Huh? Meng Zhan and the others were puzzled. Why did Jun Xiaoyao suddenly want to go in that direction? Could it be that you know where the god's obsession is sealed? Seeing this, Ling Yuan said in a neutral tone. Shut up if you don't know how to talk, Jun Xiaoyao said indifferently. Ling Yuan was angry again. Well, let's go this way. Meng Zhan also nodded. He didn't have any clue anyway. Vaguely, Jun Xiaoyao seemed to have become the leader of this team and had the highest authority. Then, under the leadership of Jun Xiaoyao, the Meng family's team rushed toward another star field. A few days passed. Along the way, Jun Xiaoyao, Meng Zhan, and the others also encountered some scattered foreign creatures and killed them cleanly. Finally, they came to another star field in the world of the divine ruins. This star field had a strong presence of qi. Immortal mist lingered in the air. It was comparable to some of the blessed lands in the nine heavens immortal realm. Such a strong presence of qi. Is there some kind of treasure here? Mengjian asked curiously. The world of the divine ruins was vast and boundless. There were many places of treasure that had yet to be discovered. Jun Xiaoyao fixed his eyes on a planet at the center of the star field. Their group of men and horses flashed away. The presence of qi on the planet was extremely strong. It loomed over the entire planet like an atmosphere. The presence of qi here is abnormal, another grand knight of the Meng family said in confusion. I can sense the presence of foreign creatures. Meng Zhan's divine sense was sensitive to the presence of foreign creatures. He could sense that there were many auras of foreign creatures on this planet. Jun Xiaoyao then added, there is another wave of energy, an extremely majestic one, within this planet. His divine sense was sharper than Meng Zhan and the others. Following this, Jun Xiaoyao and the others withdrew their presence and quietly landed on the planet. Meanwhile, on a huge continent on the planet, a large group of densely packed foreign creatures were currently excavating something here. It was a huge, immortal source spirit vein buried under the ground. The immortal spiritual vein was like a snow-white dragon that went deep into the ground. The presence of qi was unbelievably strong. Beside the immortal spiritual vein were 4 figures that looked like iron towers. They were watching the foreign creatures digging for the immortal spiritual vein. The 4 of them were wearing pitch-black heavy armor. They were riding all kinds of powerful beasts. Their mounts alone were in the peak great sacred realm. They were 4 of the famous 8 heavenly demon riders of the heavenly demon royal tribe. I didn't expect the place where the god's obsession was sealed is under an immortal ancestral vein. A black knight holding a long axe said in a muffled voice. He was the 5th brother of the 8 heavenly demon riders. Luckily, there was an immortal cultivator who was good at divination before we came. He roughly figured out the location of the place where the god's obsession was sealed. Otherwise, it would be difficult to find it. Another knight holding a crimson blade said. He was the 6th brother. The 4 brothers have already entered the depths of the immortal ancestral vein to investigate the god's obsession. Our mission is to dig out the immortal ancestral vein, the 7th brother said. But the presence of the Snake Yaksha's group has disappeared. They seem to have encountered a powerful enemy from the immortal realm, the 8th brother said. What kind of enemy is this? They're all trash in front of us, 8 heavenly demon riders. That's right. We'll kill any immortal realm cultivator that comes. The 4 heavenly demon black knights all sneered. They didn't know that someone was already spying on them in the distant mountains. Chapter 851. Damn it. That's my immortal region's ancestral vein. It's actually being excavated by those foreign bastards. In the dark, Meng Zhan clenched his fists when he saw this. Jun Xiaoyao was also surprised. He didn't expect to find an immortal source ancestral vein. Immortal source was a top-grade cultivation material and also a currency used by cultivators. An immortal source vein could attract immortal forces to fight over it. Immortal source veins and immortal source ancestral veins couldn't be compared at all. Immortal source ancestral veins were rumored to be something left behind after an immortal ascended and merged with the earth, nourishing the human world. A section of immortal source ancestral vein could turn a vast star field into a cultivation holy land. To a certain extent, it could even restore the excellent cultivation environment of ancient times. It could be said that the immortal source ancestral vein was already a strategic resource. If this large section of immortal source ancestral vein fell into the hands of the foreign realm, one could imagine that they could use it to cultivate a large number of top-grade experts. Son of God, this is my immortal region's immortal source ancestral vein. We can't let those foreign bastards take it away. Meng Zhan said resolutely. Of course, Jun Xiaoyao said. He was just worried about the lack of spirit qi in his inner universe. Even if he could give birth to creatures in the future, there wouldn't be enough spirit qi to support their cultivation. With Jun Xiaoyao's current cultivation, It was impossible for him to nourish his inner universe with spirit chi. And now, he was given a pillow when he was sleepy. If this large section of immortal source ancestral vein was placed in Jun Xiaoyao's inner universe, not only could it support the spirit chi of the inner universe, but it could also nourish Jun Xiaoyao, allowing his strength to rise again. At the same time, he would truly have an inexhaustible source of magic power. This kind of treasure was definitely not inferior to the spring of life. How could Jun Xiaoyao miss it? But they're sky demon royal experts. Meng Zhan thought. Just outside the immortal source ancestral vein, there was already a sky demon royal quasi-supreme and 4 of the sky demon 8 cavalry. There should be more experts below the immortal source ancestral vein. So, they had a plan. I have a plan, Jun Xiaoyao said. It seems that Son of God is already confident. Meng Zhan's eyes lit up. He was really glad that Jun Xiaoyao was assigned to his team. After that, Jun Xiaoyao made a simple plan, and everyone began to prepare for action. Outside the immortal origin ancestral vein, apart from the 4 of the 8 celestial demon steeds, there was no one else. There was also a quasi-supreme of the heavenly devil royal clan, whose entire body was shrouded in black fog. In fact, almost every bloodline had a quasi-supreme to hold the fort. After all, the highest battle strength in the divine ruins was only at the quasi-supreme level. At a certain moment, the quasi-supreme of the heavenly demon royal clan suddenly sensed something strange. He turned his head and saw a white-clothed figure floating in the air like a ghost. The handsome young man in a white robe reached out his hand and grabbed at the air. Forbidden Immortals, 4th seal. Boom! Countless ancient sealing runes appeared in the void around this quasi-supreme. It was the 4th seal of the immortal prohibition seal, the forbidden space. The space around the quasi-supreme of the heavenly demon royal clan instantly froze. Although it could only imprison him for a short moment, it was enough. Boom! Meng Zhan and the other Grand Knight simultaneously unleashed their most powerful moves, bombarding the quasi-supreme. Pucci, the quasi-supreme of the heavenly demon royal clan, was instantly severely injured. Damn it, enemy attack! The quasi-supreme shouted angrily. It's the cultivators of the immortal realm. How dare you plot against the Lord? You're courting death. The surrounding foreign creatures were instantly alarmed. Damn it, kill! Seeing this, the eyes of the 4 of the heavenly demon 8 cavalrymen shot out cold beams of light from under their pitch-black masks. A chaotic battle instantly began. Meng Zhan and the others fought with the severely injured quasi-supreme. The rest of the cultivators were soldiers against soldiers, generals against generals. Jun Xiaoyao used his fingers as a sword, and sword chi surged around him. He was like a lawnmower, harvesting the foreign creatures. He was quickly noticed by the heavenly demon 8 cavalrymen. You should be the ones who killed the snake Yiksha and the others, right? How dare you come here to die? Old 8 of the heavenly demon 8 cavalrymen shouted. He held a long spear that glittered with cold light in his hand. The ancient beast beneath him leaped, making him look like a demonic steed as he charged at Jun Xiaoyao. Swoosh! The long spear pierced through the void, and with an incomparably sharp aura, it stabbed at Jun Xiaoyao's chest. Seeing this, Jun Xiaoyao's eyes were indifferent, and he pushed out an ordinary hand. You're courting death. Seeing Jun Xiaoyao's action, Old 8 sneered. This young genius of the immortal realm probably didn't know who he was, right? He actually dared to use his body as his weapon, just as Old 8 sneered inwardly. The next moment, there was a loud bang. Jun Xiaoyao broke the long spear with a palm. At the same time, the palm wind landed on Old 8's body. Boom! Old 8's pitch-black heavy armor shattered, and his body was shattered. The ancient beast under him directly exploded into a cloud of blood. Then, Jun Xiaoyao used his fingers as a sword, and the immortal slaying sword Qi pierced through the void, directly piercing through Old 8's forehead. One of the heavenly demon 8 cavalrymen was dead. Old 8. The other three's expressions changed, and they were shocked. The heavenly demon 8 cavalrymen were ranked according to their strength. Although Old 8 was the last, it didn't mean that he was weak. In fact, it was difficult for Old 8 to find an opponent in the Great Sage Realm. Yet now, he had been killed in a single exchange. It's the immortal realm's supreme, outlawed sky pride. Old 7 roared, "Kill, avenge Old 8." Old 5 of the heavenly demon 8 cavalrymen roared, holding a long axe with murderous intent, and slashed at Jun Xiaoyao. Old 6 also slashed at him with a blood-red long saber in his hand. Old 7 also had a monstrous murderous intent in his eyes and surrounded Jun Xiaoyao. I can't believe all 3 of them made a move. Seeing this scene, some of the living beings in the foreign realm were surprised. Such a situation was rare. Any one of the heavenly demon 8 cavalrymen could defeat a large group of their peers in the immortal realm. But now, the 3 of them had joined forces. Jun Xiaoyao didn't care at all. He activated the immortal Duo, immortal body, to strengthen his physical body and dermic powers. Wisps of dazzling light were emitted from his body, illuminating heaven and earth, and the fluctuations were shocking. Jun Xiaoyao used the Kuan Peng steps and charged directly at Old 7. Old 7 of the heavenly demon 8 cavalrymen opened his mouth and roared, and sand particles as dazzling as the galaxy swept out. That was star sand. If one was wrapped in it, one's physical body would be crushed into powder. A wisp of immortal chi of life and death appeared on the surface of Jun Xiaoyao's body. His palms controlled the power of life and death, as if he was a supreme deity who controlled life and death. The wheel of life and death. Jun Xiaoyao's palms carried a shocking power as they crushed down. The void distorted, and all kinds of strange phenomena of life and death appeared. Old 7 star sand was directly destroyed, and at the same time, his physical body was crushed by the wheel of life and death, directly exploding, turning from life to death. Old 7, Old 5, and Old 6 were shocked and in disbelief. Then Old 5 shouted, "No, you're not a supreme, outlawed sky pride. You're a seed of the immortal realm." That shout stunned all the living beings in the foreign realm for a moment. A seed-level character of the immortal realm was definitely their nightmare. Jun Xiaoyao didn't have the mood to talk nonsense with them. The wheel of death of the heavens rolled down. At this moment, he was like a god who ruled over life and death. Under such power, the remaining 2 cavalrymen's bodies were crushed, and their souls were destroyed. Chapter 852. Jun Xiaoyao killed 4 of the 8 celestial demon steeds with brute force without any hesitation. When Ling Yuan saw this, she was also slightly stunned. Was he really not going to give her a chance to perform? "Captain Meng Zhan, let's go in," Jun Xiaoyao said. On the other side, Meng Zhan nodded slightly and handed the injured sky demon Royal Quasi-Supreme to another Grand Knight. He led Jun Xiaoyao deep into the immortal origin ancestral vein. Seeing this, Ling Yuan also bit her red lips and followed closely behind. Above the ancestral vein, the Meng family's team was fighting with the foreign creatures. Meng Zhan, Jun Xiaoyao, and Ling Yin went deep into the ancestral vein. The immortal origin ancestral vein was like a long dragon that went deep into the ground. A passage had been excavated long ago. It should be the work of the foreign creatures. What a huge immortal origin ancestral vein. Even in Empress Hua's lineage, there is only one, and it is slightly smaller than this one, Ling Yin exclaimed. Jun Xiaoyao glanced at Ling Yin. Xianting's foundation was not to be underestimated. Ling Yin was also a rich woman. "Why are you looking at me like that?" Ling Yin seemed to be very sensitive to Jun Xiaoyao's gaze. Jun Xiaoyao looked away and did not say anything. Anyway, he was going to get the immortal origin ancestral vein. Even with Jun Xiaoyao and the others' speed, it took them about 15 minutes to reach the depths of the ancestral vein. In front of them, immortal radiance lingered and spiritual fog surged. There were shadows flashing around. Jun Xiaoyao channeled his powers into his eyes, enabling him to see through the mist. He discovered that it was a group of foreign creatures who were guarding a simple and ancient altar. Among them was another quasi-supreme of the Sky Demon Royal clan. That quasi-supreme was very vigilant. As if he had sensed something, his gaze instantly shot toward Jun Xiaoyao like a sword. Come out. Evidently, the foreign quasi-supreme had already been informed by the other quasi-supreme of the ancestral bloodline and was already on guard. Jun Xiaoyao, Meng Zhan, and Ling Yin showed themselves. Seeing the newcomers, the quasi-supreme relaxed and sneered. A quasi-supreme and two great saint ants dare to enter this place? In the eyes of this heavenly demon royal clan quasi-supreme, Jun Xiaoyao and the others were truly laughable. Even if Meng Zhan was able to stall him, a quasi-supreme, however, there were several Sky Devil Royal clan saint lords beside him. As for great saints, there were more than a dozen of them. As far as he was concerned, Jun Xiaoyao and the others were simply courting death by coming here. Jun Xiaoyao didn't care about the quasi-supreme's mockery. His gaze swept across the area, but he did not discover the remaining 4 figures of the 8 celestial demon steeds. At the same time, in Jun Xiaoyao's inner universe, the simple lotus seed in the spring of life trembled slightly. Jun Xiaoyao's gaze finally fell on the altar. Jun Xiaoyao caught a faint ripple in the air. It was obvious that the altar should lead to some hidden space. It was very likely to be the place where the divine obsession was sealed. "Captain, let's do it," Jun Xiaoyao said. "All right." Meng Zhan did not hesitate at all. He trusted Jun Xiaoyao completely. He directly faced the quasi-supreme of the heavenly demon royal clan. Jun Xiaoyao glanced at Ling Yin again. Ling Yin snorted coldly and said, "Don't worry, I know the situation." What she meant was that she would join forces with Jun Xiaoyao for the time being. Jun Xiaoyao lifted his hand and went straight for the kill. Ling Yin also attacked. Hee, are the young people of the immortal region all so brave now? Looking at Jun Xiaoyao, who was charging straight at him, a heavenly demon royal clan Saint Sovereign sneered. He raised his hand and formed a pitch-black demonic seal, intending to kill Jun Xiaoyao. However, Jun Xiaoyao's body shook, and golden blood gushed out vigorously, like a true dragon awakening. A casual fist carried the power of 260 Sumeru worlds, crushing even the void. This place was greatly shaken. Pucci. With one punch, the heavenly demon royal clan Saint Sovereign's body cracked and blood spurted out. He was shocked and almost screamed. What kind of freak is this? Jun Xiaoyao did not want to waste any more time. He flipped his hand and took out the great desolate halberd. A destructive force flowed on the halberd's blade, and he swung the halberd horizontally, cutting off the Saint Sovereign's head. The Saint Sovereign's primordial spirit was directly shattered by the destructive force. The Saint Sovereign had fallen. This person, the quasi-supreme heavenly demon royal clan Saint Sovereign who was fighting with Meng Zhan, was also slightly shocked. Then he reacted. "Seed, this is a seed of the immortal region. Surround and kill him." The quasi-supreme heavenly demon royal clan Saint Sovereign shouted angrily. A seed of the immortal region must not be left alive. This was the ironclad rule of the foreign realm. The other foreign creatures also surrounded and slaughtered their way over. On the other side, Ling Yin also snorted coldly. Unwilling to fall behind, she used her ultimate technique. Immortal Palm of Empress Hua. Ling Yan's jade-like palm blasted out, and immortal energy surged. It was as if the image of a supreme goddess appeared behind her. This was a terrifying move exclusive to her sacred body of Empress Hua. Boom! Another heavenly demon royal clan Saint Sovereign's body was blasted apart, and he spat out large mouthfuls of blood. Another seed. The creatures of the foreign realm were all shocked. They did not expect 2 seeds of the immortal region to appear at once. "Damn it, get out of my way." Seeing Jun Xiaoyao and Ling Yin slaughtering the creatures of the foreign realm, the quasi-supreme heavenly demon royal clan Saint Sovereign was infuriated and wanted to shake off Meng Zhan. However, Meng Zhan was very experienced. Even if the quasi-supreme heavenly demon was stronger than him, it was impossible to shake him off. In the end, This quasi-supreme heavenly demon royal clan, Saint Sovereign watched as the creatures of the foreign realm died one after another. Captain Meng Zhan, hold on. Jun Xiaoyao glanced at Meng Zhan. Right now, he needed to stop the remaining 4 heavenly demon mounts from breaking the seal, so he did not have time to help Meng Zhan. Son of God, don't worry. I can hold on. Meng Zhan grinned. Jun Xiaoyao nodded and stood on the altar. Ling Yuan also took a step and landed on the altar. Jun Xiaoyao glanced at them and did not say anything. The space on the altar fluctuated. In the next moment, the world spun, and they instantly arrived at another place. This was a valley that was flourishing with flowers. They were colorful and beautiful, and nothing more beautiful could be imagined. It was hard to imagine that this was a place where the divine obsession was sealed. So beautiful. Even Ling Yin, who was usually noble, cold, and serious, could not help but be stunned at this moment. Such a beautiful scene could always make a woman gasp in amazement. Jun Xiaoyao plucked a flower from the ground and held it in his hand to examine it. This is... Ling Yin looked over. Lover's flower, Jun Xiaoyao murmured. Hearing this, Ling Yan's phoenix-like eyes also changed imperceptibly, and she secretly spat. She had also heard of this kind of thing. Lover's flower for a day, yearning for 1,000 years. This kind of flower had a terrible effect. Even some despicable pills were made with lover's flower as the raw material. Fortunately, the lover's flower everywhere had not bloomed yet. Why is there such a thing here? Ling Yan's smooth, jade-like face had an imperceptible blush. Being surrounded by lover's flower with Jun Xiaoyao made her feel a little strange. I think I know which divine obsession is sealed here, Jun Xiaoyao said thoughtfully. You know, Ling Yan asked. If I'm not wrong, it should be lust of the 7 deadly sins. Chapter 853. Jun Xiaoyao had already guessed it. The so-called 7 sins god obsession corresponded to the so-called 7 original sins. Greed, sloth, pride, jealousy, wrath, gluttony, and lust. It was not that the Lotus Emperor had these sins. It was because the Lotus Emperor was not human, but a green lotus in the chaos. Logically speaking, the Lotus Emperor should not have the 7 original sins that belong to human beings. However, one of his obsessions turned into the evil obsessions of the gods, which eventually became the obsessions of the god of 7 sins. And now, Jun Xiaoyao inferred the god obsession sealed here based on the Valentine's flowers blooming all over the valley. It should be lust, one of the 7 sins. After all, this was the only attribute that was more compatible with the Valentine's flowers. How did you know the sealed place is here? Ling Yan looked at Jun Xiaoyao suspiciously. After all, it was Jun Xiaoyao who led them to this planet. Could it be that Jun Xiaoyao had a way to find the sealed place of the god obsession? Do I know you that well? Jun Xiaoyao asked coldly. He would not tell Ling Yan the secret of the ancient lotus seed. Jun Xiaoyao, Ling Yan's perfect breasts rose and fell. She was really angry with Jun Xiaoyao. Let's go. The sealed place should be in the valley. Jun Xiaoyao ignored Ling Yan and walked straight into the valley. Ling Yan looked at Jun Xiaoyao's back, stomped her feet, and followed him. If Gu Tizi saw this scene, he would definitely be shocked. To think that someone as cold and aloof as Ling Yuan would actually reveal such a feminine side. The entire valley was very large. It was also full of Valentine's flowers, but they had not bloomed yet. The deeper they went into the valley, the more Jun Xiaoyao could feel that the ancient lotus seed in the spring of life was vibrating violently, as if there was some kind of resonance. What does this seed have to do with the Lotus Emperor? Is it a secret left behind by him? Jun Xiaoyao guessed. The Azure Thearch's power was unparalleled. Perhaps the Azure Thearch had already expected that after he transformed into a world, the evil thoughts of the gods that he had left behind would very likely cause trouble. However, Jun Xiaoyao still didn't know what kind of power this lotus seed had. At this stage, it was only a sealed place that could sense the sins of the gods. Just as Jun Xiaoyao was thinking about this, he suddenly stopped in his tracks. Up ahead was the deepest part of the valley. There was a stone sculpture in the shape of a lotus flower. Around the lotus stone sculpture, There were also various ancient and complicated sealing runes. For figures that looked like pitch-black iron towers surrounded the lotus stone sculpture. Sensing the arrival of Jun Xiaoyao and Ling Yin, for pairs of cold eyes stared at them at the same time. "You're the ones who kill my four brothers." The leading dark knight among the four said in an extremely cold tone. He was the leader of the 8 celestial demon steeds. The beast he rode was a scarlet leopard with horns on its forehead and 5 tails on its back. This was an ancient variant beast, the Ho. Of course, it naturally couldn't be a pure-blooded ferocious beast. It only had a trace of the Ho's bloodline. However, it was already strong enough. Just this ferocious beast alone was enough to tear apart a peak supreme Saint expert. To a certain extent, it could even compete with a sacred lord. Just one of its mounts was already so strong. It was obvious how strong the leader of the 8 celestial demon steeds was. As for the second, third, and fourth brothers, their auras were also ferocious. Their mounts were the Silver Sky Wolf, the Golden Eye Lion King, and so on. They were all extremely ferocious beasts. These 4 were obviously much stronger than the other 4 on the Ancestral Mountain. "Your 4 brothers are too weak. I hope you can bring me a little surprise," Jun Xiaoyao said lightly. "You're courting death." The 4 were furious. 3 of them charged toward Jun Xiaoyao and Ling Yin. The remaining leader didn't charge toward them. He was activating his dermic powers and infusing them into a jade talisman. This jade talisman floated above the lotus stone sculpture, releasing a mysterious aura and ancient, twisted runes. Those weren't celestial realm runes, but foreign ancient characters. Very clearly, this was a seal-breaking tool, specially used to break all kinds of seals. Previously, the 4 celestial demon steeds had been activated here. They just needed to wait for a while to break the seals here. When the divine obsessions break the seals one by one, it will be your doomsday. The leader of the 4 steeds revealed a fierce light in his eyes. Boom! The 4th brother attacked, holding a pitch-black mace, smashing it down toward Jun Xiaoyao's head. The air was sucked away, the void trembling, and an ear-piercing sonic boom sounded. This strike was enough to shatter a towering mountain into smithereens. Jun Xiaoyao raised his hand. His palm was as lustrous as jade, branded with all kinds of divine patterns, and directly smashed it barehanded. "You're courting death." The 4th brother roared, wondering if this celestial realm prodigy was looking down on him too much. Clang! The 2 collided, actually erupting with the sound of metal colliding, as well as dazzling sparks. Jun Xiaoyao's palm was like the world's sturdiest divine weapon, blasting the mace away. Splat! The 4th brother spat out a mouthful of blood, and shock appeared in his eyes. What kind of physical body is this? The 4th brother was in disbelief. Even a holy lord wouldn't be able to receive this attack with his bare hands. "Let me." The 3rd brother also attacked, waving a hammer forged from Xianyuan sky gold in his hand. A thumb-sized piece of Xianyuan sky gold was already as heavy as 10,000 Jun, let alone this entire hammer, which was forged from Xianyuan sky gold. With a single strike, one would be smashed into a meat patty, no matter how strong one's physical body was. The 3rd brother of the 8 celestial demon steeds was born with monstrous strength, which was why he could wield this incredibly heavy Xianyuan sky gold hammer. Boom! With a single strike, the ground ahead shook. If it weren't for the special sealing formation patterns here, the entire valley would definitely collapse. "You want to compete with me in physical strength?" Jun Xiaoyao said coldly. In the younger generation of the celestial realm, if Jun Xiaoyao said that his physical body was second, then no one would dare to say that they were first. The torrential qi turned into a blood-red dragon and rushed out of Jun Xiaoyao's body. Not to mention the power of the Sumeru world. Just the sacred body of the ancients and the immortal celestial body of the great Luo were enough to burst out with shocking power. Boom! Jun Xiaoyao punched out, and the 3rd brother was sent flying again. It was at this critical juncture. A terrifying arrow pierced through the void and shot directly toward Jun Xiaoyao's head. However, there was a clang. An immortal sword flashed past and deflected the arrow. Ling Yin was holding a long sword that was surging with divine qi and spiritual light. She looked like an otherworldly, beautiful female, sword immortal. How dare you ignore me? Ling Yin was cold as she waved the sword. Sword chi appeared one after another, cutting through the void with terrifying power. One of the 5 great divine techniques, the immortal tribulation sword technique. Jun Xiaoyao's eyes flashed. The so-called 5 great divine techniques of the sword Dao were the immortal slayer sword technique, the primitive emperor sword technique, the grass symbol sword technique, the immortal tribulation sword technique, and the heaven cleaving technique. Jun Xiaoyao had already learned 3 of the 5 great divine techniques. It was rumored that if one could gather the 5 great divine techniques and master them, it was possible to evolve the supreme sword technique and comprehend the essence of the sword Dao. At this moment, Ling Yin used the immortal tribulation sword technique. She was really like a female sword immortal who killed decisively. She was peerless and valiant. Jun Xiaoyao did not want to delay. He flipped his hand and took out the great desolate halberd. He swept out with the halberd. The surging killing intent turned into rolling waves and swept out with a dazzling halberd light. Jun Xiaoyao and Ling Yin. The 2 of them were of the highest status and strongest younger generation in the mystic realm. At this moment, they joined forces and used their ultimate techniques. That kind of power could be imagined. Even the famous 4 heavenly demon riders of the foreign realm could not bear it. They all coughed up blood and looked shocked. Seeds, both of you are seeds. The 4th brother roared, his face twisted. Chapter 854. When Jun Xiaoyao and Ling Yin displayed their true strength. Only then did the 4 heavenly demon cavalry know what kind of people they were. They were definitely seed-level prodigies of the celestial realm. Even if they were to face such people, they would most likely be in trouble. Only the top king clan prodigies of the foreign realm or the 10 heavenly kings of the younger generation might be able to deal with such existences. 2 seed-level figures actually appeared at once. Old Four's expression was a bit ugly. If the 8 heavenly demon cavalry were all here, they might be able to deal with the seed-level prodigy of the celestial realm. But now, 4 of the 8 heavenly demon cavalry were already dead. Jun Xiaoyao raised his hand, and the great desolate halberd burst out with sharp halberd light. Its killing power was shocking, shaking the void as it slashed towards Old Four. Seeing this, Ling Yin also held the immortal spirit sword in his hand and swept it out. Sword light surged, filling the surroundings. The entire valley was filled with snow-white sword light. Before those seed-level prodigies buried in history appeared in the world. Jun Xiaoyao and Ling Yin were almost the representatives of the celestial realm's top prodigies. At this moment, the 2 of them joined forces, so there was no need to say more about their power. Kill! The 4 heavenly demon cavalry also roared. The silver heavenly wolf, golden-eyed lion king, and other ferocious beasts under them also roared and pounced towards Jun Xiaoyao and Ling Yin. The scene was chaotic. Jun Xiaoyao's expression was calm. His blood surged into the sky, and his magic power burst out. He stepped on the Kuan Peng and activated the power of his saint physique. He directly landed in front of Old Four and slashed down with a great desolate halberd. Heavenly demon roar. Old Four shouted fiercely, and his entire body erupted with rolling demonic energy. All kinds of killing curses were branded in the void, colliding with Jun Xiaoyao. Pucci. However, under this collision, the great desolate halberd directly shattered Old Four's weapon, the Wolf Fong iron staff. As the metal fragments flew, Old Four's heavy armor was pierced through, and blood flowed out. Jun Xiaoyao flipped his hand, and the great desolate halberd swept out, cutting off Old Four's head. The destructive power contained within it crushed his primordial spirit into pieces. 4. The eyes of the other 3 almost popped out of their sockets. Even the boss could no longer sit still. After pouring his vigorous magic power into the seal-breaking jade talisman, he turned around and charged towards Jun Xiaoyao on his ferocious beast. He took out a trident that also gave off the aura of a quasi-emperor weapon. Pay for my brother's life. The leader of the sky demon 8 steeds let out a thunderous roar. The human-beast unity technique charged towards Jun Xiaoyao. This was a special secret technique that allowed him to integrate the power of his mount into his own body. The power of the ferocious beast he was riding merged into his boss's body, allowing his attacks to be unstoppable. The trident carried with it a shocking amount of power. Like the howling wind and the rumbling thunder, it pierced through space. This move could even severely injure a holy lord. Jun Xiaoyao activated the power of the Sumru world. The cells in his body were like small worlds, colliding with each other. Monstrous divine power surged out. His halberd of desolation swept across, destroying everything in its path. It had the power to split the heavens and split the earth. Boom! A shocking collision erupted. Magic power rippled in all directions. The sound of metal colliding was like the sound of a weapon refinement room in the heavenly realm. It was extremely ear-piercing. Under such a collision, the leader of the Sky Demon 8 Steeds had a look of shock on his face. He only felt as if he was facing a primordial god. Boundless power was like layers of worlds crushing down on him. Crack! A loud sound came from the leader's arm. The sound of bones cracking could be heard. His physical body couldn't withstand a single move from Jun Xiaoyao. Bang! The trident-holding arm of the leader of the Sky Demon 8 Steeds exploded into a cloud of blood mist. Leader! The second and third leaders were extremely shocked. Among the Sky Demon 8 Steeds, the leader was the strongest. Even if he was alone, he was definitely a top prodigy of the foreign domain. But now, he couldn't even withstand a single move from the white-robed man. Even if he was a seed-level character, he was too terrifying. You? Who exactly are you? Under the helmet, the leader's eyes widened. He was extremely shocked. His strength, among the foreign domain's younger generation, couldn't be said to be at the top, but it was above average. Remember, the one who sent you to the Yellow Springs is Jun Xiaoyao. Jun Xiaoyao said coldly. The great desolate halberd in his hand hacked out again. After hearing Jun Xiaoyao's words, the remaining 3 Sky Demon Steeds' minds buzzed. Jun Xiaoyao, you are from the immortal domain's Jun family. The 3 of them couldn't help but cry out in alarm, carrying expressions of extreme shock. It was because the immortal domain's Jun family was too famous in the foreign domain. Even now, in the foreign domain, there was still a poem that was passed down. Great generals should not be restrained. Great armies avoid the white robe. This white robe was referring to the white robe divine, King Jun Wuhui. Apart from Jun Wuhui, the great generals under his command, as well as some other experts from the Jun family, also established a great reputation for themselves in the foreign domain. It could be said that when the foreign domain's creatures heard the name of the Jun family, if they didn't immediately scatter, they would at least panic. Right now, the 3 Sky Demon Steeds were completely dumbfounded. They didn't expect their luck to be so bad, actually encountering someone from the Jun family. Moreover, the familiar white clothes in front of them made it hard for them not to associate it with the white-robed divine king. Then, who is that white-robed god of slaughter to you? Old Third's eyes were filled with extreme fear. It seems that my father is quite famous in the foreign domain. Jun Xiaoyao smiled. It was a cold smile. Damn it! The 3 Sky Demon Steeds cursed inwardly, their fighting spirit about to collapse. It was actually the descendant of the white robe god of slaughter. The 3 Sky Demon Steeds lost their fighting spirit and were already thinking about how to retreat. However, Jun Xiaoyao obviously wouldn't give him the chance. The great desolate halberd swept out. The halberd blade cut through the void, and vast magical power splashed out like a storm. Pucci! Blood spurted out. Old Third's body was split open by Jun Xiaoyao's halberd. On the side, Ling Yin was not to be outdone. She held the immortal spirit's sword in her hand, and vast sword light surged. She definitely didn't expect that there would be a day when she would join forces with Jun Xiaoyao. And it felt pretty good. It was as if Jun Xiaoyao was the emperor who swept across the world, and she was the empress who reigned supreme over the world. The most powerful man was matched with the most noble woman. Perfect. Why would I have such thoughts? Ling Yin came to her senses and was secretly angry. As if to divert attention, she held the immortal spirit sword in her hand and attacked again. In just a moment, the remaining 3 sky demon steeds were killed by Jun Xiaoyao and Ling Yan together. It can only be said that the 8 sky demon steeds were unlucky to encounter these 2 top figures. However, at this moment, a faint cracking sound suddenly rang out. Not good. Jun Xiaoyao came to his senses. The seal-breaking jade talisman emitted an unprecedented light. Cracks began to spread on the surface of the lotus stone sculpture, and in the blink of an eye, they spread out. The entire lotus flower sculpture instantly became like a cracked porcelain. It was accompanied by a crisp, cracking sound. The stone sculpture was completely shattered. A beautiful pink lotus flower that was branded with supreme runes quietly bloomed. It was the pink lotus of lust, one of the 7 deadly sins. The divine obsession has broken the seal. Jun Xiaoyao and Ling Yan's hearts sank at the same time. Chapter 855. Divine obsessions were the indestructible obsessions left behind by powerhouses above the great emperor level. Generally speaking, every time a divine obsessions broke the seal, it would cause a catastrophe. After all, most of these divine obsessions were evil thoughts, the negative emotions of the great emperor-level powerhouses. When they were alive, the great emperor-level powerhouses could suppress their negative emotions. But after they died, the negative emotions would erupt, forming a brutal divine obsessions. Of course, there were some peaceful divine obsessions that even had a trace of kindness left. But there were too few of those divine obsessions. At least the 7 sins divine obsessions in the world of the ruins of God were not of that type. At this moment, the lotus stone sculpture shattered. A beautiful pink lotus was suspended in midair. A terrifying pressure that was enough to suffocate people poured out in all directions. Ling Yuan only felt an aura that was so strong that it made her feel despair explode out. In front of this aura, even someone as proud as her felt that she had become an ant and dust in an instant. This was no longer in existence on the same level. Is this the aura of the God Emperor's remnant? Ling Yan's face was as pale as paper, and even her breathing was a little uneven. Under the pressure of this aura, she felt that she was incomparably small, and her heart was filled with despair. This was the difference between a giant dragon and an ant. The God Emperor was too strong. It had become a mythical existence. Even if it was just a wisp of aura released by the remnant divine obsessions, it was enough to crush a supreme being in an instant. Am I going to die here? Ling Yan couldn't help but think to herself. She and Jun Xiaoyao had no power to resist in front of this divine obsessions. Thinking of this, Ling Yan's beautiful eyes couldn't help but look at Jun Xiaoyao. But what surprised her was that Jun Xiaoyao stood tall and straight, and there was not a trace of emotion on his handsome face. Even if Mount Tai collapsed in front of him, his expression would not change. In this desperate situation, Jun Xiaoyao's face still did not show any despair. He just frowned slightly, as if thinking about something. For some reason, Ling Yuan leaned against Jun Xiaoyao's back as if she was possessed by some supernatural force. Yes, Ling Yan was noble and proud. However, no matter how cold and domineering she was still a woman. In such a desperate situation, one would instinctively look for someone to rely on. Jun Xiaoyao was, without a doubt, the most solid support he could rely on. He had always been able to give women a sense of security. Jun Xiaoyao didn't feel anything when he felt a soft body leaning against his back. Right now, his attention was focused on the pink lotus flower. The will of the 7 sins God represented the 7 original sins. The pink lotus of joy in front of him undoubtedly represented lust of the 7 deadly sins. Accompanied by bursts of light, a blurry and slender figure appeared from the pink lotus. That figure was shrouded in a hazy radiance, his long hair hanging down to his ankles. His face was blurry, like a god standing in the river of time. Jun Xiaoyao knew that the Lotus Emperor had no gender, due to the fact that its true form was a primal chaos green lotus. There was simply no distinction between male and female after it took human form. How many years has it been? A faint sigh came from the blurry figure. It was impossible to tell whether the voice was male or female, but it made one's mind waver. The aura of this blurry figure was so powerful that it was simply above the heavens. Even Jun Xiaoyao felt as if he was suffocating at the moment. Under such circumstances, ordinary geniuses would definitely have a shaky Tao heart and feel that they were even more insignificant than dust. However, Jun Xiaoyao didn't feel that way. He was confident that, as long as he was given time, he could also surpass the mythical arch. Rumble. The blurry figure glanced at Jun Xiaoyao and Ling Yin indifferently. Its eyes were extremely indifferent. It was about to destroy Jun Xiaoyao and Ling Yin with a casual point of its finger. Ling Yin leaned behind Jun Xiaoyao, gritting her teeth and preparing to use her trump card. Jun Xiaoyao also raised his mind and prepared to use his ultimate move. He didn't have the habit of waiting for death. At this moment, strands of law runes suddenly descended from the void. Like shackles, they imprisoned the divine obsession. It's the law that Emperor Qing left behind in the world of the ruins of God. Jun Xiaoyao's eyes flashed. In the world of the ruins of God, only quasi-supreme masters were allowed to appear. The aura of this divine obsession had obviously surpassed that of a quasi-supreme master, so it attracted the law restriction of the world of the ruins of God. Under the restriction of the law shackles, the aura of this divine obsession dropped sharply. In the end, it reached the level of a quasi-supreme master. But even so, the power of this god obsession was much, much stronger than the snake Yiksha and the other pseudo-supremes. As the finger fell, even with the powerful physique of Jun Xiaoyao's sacred body of the ancients, he felt like he was about to be crushed. Jun Xiaoyao took out the myriad qi cauldron. The thick and simple cauldron was the strongest defense. Clang! A sound like the morning bell and evening drum sounded. The divine obsession pointed at the myriad qi cauldron. The rebounding force was so powerful that he was sent flying hundreds of meters away. The qi and blood within his body were boiling, and his bones were making cracking noises. Ling Yin, who was next to him, was also forced back. But because Jun Xiaoyao blocked it, she only suffered some minor injuries. There was a trace of blood at the corner of her mouth. The divine obsession stood on the pink lotus of joy, and the lotus crossed the void. This is a bit troublesome, Jun Xiaoyao thought to himself. A single divine obsession was already so troublesome. It was almost invincible in the world of the ruins of God. If all 7 of them attacked together, no one would be able to stop it. In the end, if they merged and formed an evil divine obsession, even a quasi-emperor would find it difficult to resist. Right now, this divine obsession was about to attack again. Just at this critical moment, Yi Zichen's eyes lit up. In Jun Xiaoyao's spring of life, the simple lotus seed in the spring of life in his inner universe trembled violently. The rippling splendor was cleansing, and all kinds of mysterious and simple formations appeared from the lotus seed. The divine obsession seemed to have sensed something, and its figure suddenly stopped. Then, the divine will looked at Jun Xiaoyao with a deep gaze. That gaze contained a faint trace of fear, as if it was worried about something. You will forever sink into desire, the divine obsession said. As these words fell, the divine obsession raised its hand and snapped its fingers. In an instant, all the Valentine's flowers in the entire valley bloomed at almost the same time. Countless pink pollen formed a pink mist that pervaded the space. One day of the Valentine's flowers, 1,000 years of yearning. One flower could make people sink into it. Not to mention the Valentine's flowers that covered the mountains and plains. Even a true supreme expert would be lost here, lose his mind, and forever sink into the illusion of desire. Jun Xiaoyao and Ling Yin were instantly submerged in the thick pink mist. Seeing this, the divine obsession stepped on the pink lotus of joy and left this space. This divine obsession had more important things to do, and that was to combine the 7 divine obsessions. And in the pink mist of the Valentine's flowers, Jun Xiaoyao felt that his physical body and primordial spirit were being eroded, and he began to feel dizzy. At the same time, a desire emerged. But fortunately, Jun Xiaoyao's primordial spirit was abnormally strong, and even some true supreme experts couldn't compare to Jun Xiaoyao. So he could hold on a little longer. In addition, the simple lotus seed in his inner universe also emitted a faint breath of fresh air that helped Jun Xiaoyao to wake up. So Jun Xiaoyao could still keep his mind clear for the time being. I must refine the hell, soul, demonic flower and strengthen my primordial spirit. Only then can I get rid of it. Jun Xiaoyao thought, and prepared to take out the hell, soul, demonic flower to refine. At this moment, a soft gasp made Jun Xiaoyao raise his eyebrows. Ling Yin, who was leaning behind him, stretched out her jade-white arms and hugged Jun Xiaoyao. "What do you want to do?" Jun Xiaoyao said coldly. Chapter 856. At this moment, Ling Yin's snow-white skin had a layer of pink and bright red. Her beautiful eyes were blurred, cold, and seductive. Her red lips were slightly opened, and her breath was like orchids. Jun Xiaoyao was because of his 3 primordial spirits and the ancient lotus seed. Therefore, he could temporarily resist the erosion of the lover's flower mist. But Ling Yin was different. Perhaps her primordial spirit was not much weaker than Jun Xiaoyao's. But she did not have the lotus seed. In addition, she had experienced 100 lives of ill-fated fate with Jun Xiaoyao in the sea of reincarnation. It was like an explosive. It only needed a spark to detonate it. And now, the mist of the lover's flower was undoubtedly a raging fire. It was the unforgettable love that she had experienced with Jun Xiaoyao in the reincarnation. At this moment, it gushed into Ling Yan's heart like a geyser. In addition, she had been subtly influenced by the fairy kite, so it was even more difficult to resist. "No, I won't." Ling Yin struggled, trying to control her actions. Her delicate and peerless snow-white face had a conflicted expression. This consort will definitely not. Ling Yan's phoenix-like eyes stared fixedly at the white-robed figure sitting cross-legged on the ground in front of her. Jun Xiaoyao could only barely ensure that his soul was clear and did not fall into the eternal abyss. How could he spare the energy to care about Ling Yan? More and more illusions appeared in front of Ling Yan's eyes. In a certain life of reincarnation, she was a cursed loner. Jun Xiaoyao was a peerless, immortal master in white. When the two of them met, Ling Yin was destined to fall for him. Jun Xiaoyao took her in as his disciple and became the white moonlight in her heart. But in the end, Jun Xiaoyao chose the common people between the world and her. In that life, she hated him to the extreme, but she also loved him to the extreme. In a certain life, she was a woman waiting for the return of the major general in white. In the end, she waited for him to return, but she did not see him return. In one life, she was a little peach demon, and Jun Xiaoyao was the young master of a demon-slaying family. They had agreed to go through a myriad of trials and tribulations together, but in the end, it was Jun Xiaoyao who killed her with his own sword. In short, every life was unforgettable. If it were any other woman, even if they had experienced a lifetime, they would remember it forever. Not to mention the love of 100 generations. That was like carving a knife into his heart. In addition, there was also the mist emitted by the countless Valentine's flowers. Ling Yin couldn't resist it any longer. Although she tried her best to keep her mind clear, her head was getting heavier and heavier. A single flower was enough to make people lose themselves in it. There were more than 10 million Valentine's flowers in this place. At the same time, all nuns had to return to the secular world. In the end, Ling Yuan looked at Jun Xiaoyao. She could no longer hide the dazed look in her eyes. She slowly walked towards Jun Xiaoyao. Her perfect figure began to show. His muscles and bones were like jade, glistening like snow, suffused with an exquisite and flawless luster, like porcelain. The word Jun was particularly eye-catching on her snow-white thigh. Jun Xiaoyao looked at her calmly. As the most honorable and admired young empress of the Xian Ting in the 9 heavens immortal realm. At this moment, Ling Yin was very proactive. She took off her clothes. She had completely fallen into the trap. No, perhaps some hidden things had taken advantage of this opportunity to be activated. Following this, Jun Xiaoyao didn't have a good time. That was because his will had to be firmer. Otherwise, if he was completely lost too, he and Ling Yin would never be able to leave this place. As for Meng Zhan and the others, Jun Xiaoyao couldn't count on them either. No one knew what was going on outside. Jun Xiaoyao continued to refine the Hell Soul Demon flowers. Ling Yin kept disturbing him. She was restless. "Don't disturb me." Jun Xiaoyao smacked him down with a loud smack. He wasn't a moralist, nor was he Liu Xiaohui, who was unperturbed. However, under the current circumstances, he really wasn't in the mood to enjoy the coquettish actions of Princess. Not to mention that this princess was his opponent and enemy. A red palm print appeared on the ground. Ling Yin frowned slightly and let out a pleasant sigh. This, Jun Xiaoyao was slightly startled. He seemed to have discovered this cold princess's unknown quirk. Ling Yin continued to harass him. Jun Xiaoyao had no choice but to knock Ling Yin out with a karate chop. Jun Xiaoyao could finally refine the Hell Soul Demon flowers in peace. Finally, a few days later, along with a powerful soul fluctuation, Jun Xiaoyao felt the power of his soul surging in his mind. His primordial spirit was a lot stronger. Although it hadn't reached the eternal sand level, it was already much stronger than before. If he had to describe it, it was probably at the level of lesser perfection of the boundless level. In addition, the ancient lotus seed in Jun Xiaoyao's body had already overflowed with a lot of clear qi. Jun Xiaoyao could finally not be affected by this place. It could be said that if it were anyone else, it would be difficult to escape from this place and would completely sink. Next, Jun Xiaoyao looked at Ling Yin, who was lying on the ground. Ling Yin seemed to have had some strange dream. Her face was very red, and her red lips were unconsciously muttering Jun Xiaoyao's name. From the looks of it, in Ling Yan's dream, she should have some kind of pure and beautiful connection with Jun Xiaoyao. Jun Xiaoyao's eyes revealed a thoughtful look. To be honest, he could abandon Ling Yin and let her sink here. However, this would also affect Fairy Yuan, and she would not be able to obtain true freedom. Moreover, Jun Xiaoyao's plan still needed the 7 rebellious emperors. Ling Yin was an important part of the 7 rebellious emperors, and he still needed her as a tool. Nothing could happen to her for the time being. "You're lucky." Jun Xiaoyao shook his head lightly and pointed at Ling Yan's forehead. He used his primordial spirit and dermic powers to cleanse the lover's pollen in her body. At the same time, the clear qi emitted by the ancient lotus seed was also transmitted into Ling Yan's body. Gradually, Ling Yan's rosy and tender skin slowly turned back to white. After a quarter of an hour, Ling Yan's long and black eyelashes trembled, and she opened her eyes. Her first reaction was confusion and confusion. Her second reaction was to recall the scene in her dream. Her beautiful face instantly turned red like fire, and at the same time, she couldn't believe it. It was a pleasant dream, but why was it a nightmare when she recalled it after waking up? Her third reaction was when Ling Yin realized that she was naked. Her fourth reaction was when Jun Xiaoyao stood in front of Ling Yin and looked at her with a calm expression. Boom! Ling Yin felt as if thousands of thunderbolts were roaring in her head at the same time. She was a little dizzy, and her expression was blank as if she had been possessed. What kind of nightmare had she experienced? "You're still looking." Ling Yin hurriedly took out a long dress from her spatial artifact and was about to cover herself. However, she suddenly felt a burning sensation on her, but it was a bright red handprint. Ling Yan's mind went blank again. Had she been spanked? I didn't expect the young emperor of the rebellious emperors to have such a special hobby. Jun Xiaoyao's expression was cold and mocking. "Jun Xiaoyao, I'm going to kill you." Ling Yuan changed into a glazed dress and gritted her teeth. She was so embarrassed that she charged at Jun Xiaoyao with her sword. Chapter 857. The sharp blade was pointed at Jun Xiaoyao's forehead. Jun Xiaoyao's expression was indifferent. Swoosh! In the end, the blade stopped 3 inches away from Jun Xiaoyao's forehead. Ling Yan's delicate hands trembled slightly. An indescribable feeling made her extremely conflicted. Anger, shame, hatred, confusion, and confusion. All kinds of emotions were rolling in Ling Yan's heart. Her heart had never been in such a mess. Ling Yuan had always been cold and aloof. She was high and mighty. In her opinion, supreme power and the peak of cultivation were the thing she should pursue. Other than that, nothing else mattered. Even love, which was very important to women, was the same. Because of this, she could ignore Gu Tizi's pursuit and even scoff at it. But now, this man, who was her fated enemy, had such a complicated entanglement with her. For the first time, Ling Yan's heart was at a loss. However, just as Ling Yan was feeling conflicted, Jun Xiaoyao flicked his finger and broke the immortal spirit sword. At the same time, he said coldly, "Ling Yan, remember, don't play the chaste woman in front of the Son of God." "So what? Do you want to dig out the eyes of the Son of God?" Jun Xiaoyao was not a lowly protagonist. For example, if he accidentally saw the so-called goddess naked, the goddess would be so embarrassed that she would dig out his eyes. Then the protagonist would instantly become a bootlicker and try his best to win the heart of the goddess. For Jun Xiaoyao, it was already an honor to be seen by him. So what if Ling Yan was noble? Even someone like Long Yao was only worthy of being a bitch at his feet. Hearing this, Ling Yan was so ashamed and angry that her delicate body trembled. He had seen her naked, and she had been spanked. In the end, Jun Xiaoyao looked like the victim. Who was the one at a disadvantage? Ling Yan suddenly felt extremely wronged. No matter how strong and cold she was still a woman. She would definitely feel wronged if she encountered such a situation. Seeing this, Jun Xiaoyao said indifferently, "Don't feel wronged. At least I saved your life. Otherwise, you would have been trapped in a dream forever." Hearing this, Ling Yan once again recalled the scene in her dream, and her pretty face couldn't help but heat up. This dream must not be known to Jun Xiaoyao. Ling Yan took a few deep breaths and calmed down for the time being. Indeed, although Ling Yan felt ashamed and indignant, he still felt humiliated. However, she could not possibly stay here and fight to the death with Jun Xiaoyao. That was unrealistic. After a period of silence, Ling Yan's expression became complicated. She suddenly asked, "Are you really doing this to save me?" Jun Xiaoyao replied indifferently, "Of course not. I'm doing this for the sake of Fairy Yuan." "So, you saved this consort because of Fairy Yuan?" Ling Yan asked. Otherwise, Ling Yan felt an inexplicable anger rising in her heart. Inexplicably, she felt even more irritable. There seemed to be a kind of sour aura pervading the bottom of her heart. Saving her for another woman, what was this? What did Jun Xiaoyao take her for? Fairy Yuan's accessory? Tomorrow's female kite was her accessory. Seeing Ling Yan's expression, Jun Xiaoyao sneered and said, "Ling Yan, you don't really think that this Son of God will be so kind as to save you sincerely, do you?" "I'm not that naive." Ling Yan's expression was cold. She turned around and no longer looked at Jun Xiaoyao. Jun Xiaoyao shook his head. In front of ordinary people, this princess was incomparably cold. In front of him, she was a dead Sundara. Jun Xiaoyao ignored Ling Yan and turned around to leave this space. Seeing that Jun Xiaoyao didn't have the slightest intention to pay attention to her, Ling Yan bit her red lips with her pearly white teeth. She really wanted to bite Jun Xiaoyao. However, although she was angry, Ling Yan still followed behind Jun Xiaoyao and left together. There was a fluctuation in the space. Jun Xiaoyao and Ling Yan appeared on the altar under the ancestral vein. They didn't find the figures of Meng Zhan and the heavenly demon royal clan, Quasi-Supreme. The two followed the passage and returned to the immortal source, ancestral vein. Looking around, there were many corpses on the ground. There were foreign creatures, and also the Meng family's team. All the corpses were shaken into a ball of bloody foam. It should be the pressure emitted when the god chanted, directly killing all the surrounding creatures. Jun Xiaoyao guessed. At this time, a figure staggered over from a mountain range in the distance. It was Meng Zhan. At this moment, Meng Zhan was covered in wounds and bleeding. However, his expression was filled with incomparable excitement and joy. He said, "Son of God, Princess, you are still alive. This is great. When the god chanted, Meng Zhan thought that Jun Xiaoyao and the others might have been killed. He didn't expect that they could escape alive. We were just lucky, Jun Xiaoyao said lightly. He also had a guess in his heart that the god's obsession didn't attack him. It should be related to the lotus seed in the spring of life. Meng Zhan looked at Jun Xiaoyao and Ling Yin and found that they didn't have any injuries. He couldn't help but click his tongue in wonder. The only thing that made Meng Zhan's gaze a little strange was Ling Yin seemed a little strange. Her face was rosy, and her skin was still bright red, but her expression was cold. She looked like a little wife who was angry after being bullied. Meng Zhan looked back at Jun Xiaoyao and couldn't help but have a guess in his heart. Could it be that the two of them had developed some wonderful relationship under extreme life and death situations? With that thought in mind, Meng Zhan looked at Jun Xiaoyao with eyes that were filled with the admiration of a man. After all, Jun Xiaoyao could conquer even his sworn enemy. His way of dealing with women was too amazing. Jun Xiaoyao directly ignored the admiration in Meng Zhan's eyes and asked, Captain, the situation here is, it's like this. Then Meng Zhan told Jun Xiaoyao some things outside. For example, when he was fighting with the heavenly demon royal clan Quasi-Supreme under the ancestral vein, he sensed a terrifying aura. He immediately understood that the god's obsession should have broken the seal. Then they retreated at the same time. After that, the god's obsession appeared, and its aura alone killed a large number of creatures. The god's obsession didn't deliberately kill, but left directly. Seeing that the god's obsession left, the remaining heavenly demon royal clan experts and other creatures also retreated, as if to report the situation. Meng Zhan also retreated with the remaining members to heal their injuries. He was just about to go look for Jun Xiaoyao after he had recovered from his injuries. He didn't expect Jun Xiaoyao to come out directly. I see. Jun Xiaoyao understood. The god's obsession either went to meet up with the other god's obsessions or went to where the Tree of World was. Because if the god's obsession wanted to break through the entire world of the divine ruins, it couldn't do without the Tree of World. And that was Jun Xiaoyao's opportunity. What's the Son of God's plan next? Meng Zhan asked. Jun Xiaoyao was now the backbone of this team. His ability was obvious to all. It was amazing that he could even survive the god's obsession. Since the god's obsession has broken the seal, we can only look for other god's obsessions. But you are all injured, so you should rest here first. As for me, I am quite interested in the immortal source ancestral vein, Jun Xiaoyao said. Meng Zhan nodded slightly. Jun Xiaoyao's contribution was the greatest. It was understandable that he wanted the immortal source ancestral vein. You want the immortal source ancestral vein for yourself? Ling Yin suddenly asked. Why? You have a problem with that? Don't forget who gave you your life, Jun Xiaoyao said indifferently. Ling Yuan was speechless, and her exquisite face flushed red with shame and indignation. Meng Zhan looked at the two of them and thought to himself, just as I thought. Two immortal power successors who were supposed to be at each other's throats actually had such sparks. Wonderful. Such a big immortal source ancestral vein. Be careful not to choke you to death. Ling Yin crossed her arms in front of her chest and said coldly, Young Emperor Ling Yin, you don't have to worry about that. Jun Xiaoyao sneered. He raised his hand, and a vast amount of dermic powers surged. The god-engulfing demonic technique was used, and a strong suction force pulled the entire immortal source ancestral vein from the ground. Then, under Ling Yan's surprised gaze, Jun Xiaoyao absorbed it into his body. Chapter 858. The entire immortal source ancestral meridian was extracted. The entire planet began to tremble like a magnitude 18 earthquake. Countless cracks spread across the land. The surface of the planet was instantly filled with cracks. After the ancestral meridian was extracted, it left behind a huge crack that looked like an abyss. At the same time, the spirit chi in this star field began to dissipate and drop rapidly. The extraction of the ancestral meridian was like the source of water being blocked. The spirit chi naturally began to deplete and eventually dissipated completely. You put the immortal source ancestral meridian into a spatial artifact? Ling Yan's red lips opened slightly in surprise. An immortal source ancestral meridian that looked like an ancient dragon couldn't be stored in an ordinary artifact, right? It wasn't that Ling Yan was ignorant and didn't know about the inner universe. It was that Jun Xiaoyao's cultivation was only at the Great Sage Realm. Ling Yan couldn't have imagined that Jun Xiaoyao had an inner universe. And if Jun Xiaoyao wanted to conceal his aura and hide it, outsiders would definitely not be able to detect the inner universe fluctuations in Jun Xiaoyao's body. Meng Zhan was also a little shocked. Then he thought of something, but he subconsciously denied it, because even he, a quasi-supreme, hadn't cultivated an inner universe. He didn't even have an embryonic form. It should be some ancient spatial artifact, Meng Zhan thought to himself. Ling Yan was already speechless. She could only sit cross-legged on the side and close her eyes to adjust her breathing. Jun Xiaoyao took out some top-grade healing pills for Meng Zhan. "Captain, you guys recover first. We'll set off when the time comes," Jun Xiaoyao said. "Thank you, son of God," Meng Zhan said gratefully. Then he and a group of injured people began to adjust their breathing. It was necessary to recover from their injuries. Otherwise, they would die faster if they fought the foreign creatures with injuries. After Meng Zhan left, Jun Xiaoyao was deep in thought. At first, he did want to complete the mission and destroy the foreign creatures' plan to unseal the divine obsession. But now it seemed that if he wanted to get the world tree in the depths of the divine ruins, he still needed the help of the divine obsession, because it was difficult for them to break the seal left behind by the Azure Arch. Not to mention obtaining the world tree. Jun Xiaoyao had an idea before. He wanted to let the gods break the seal and then break the seal of the world tree. This idea was indeed crazy. If they were not careful, the ruins of God World would collapse, and the border would also usher in a great calamity. Logically speaking, Jun Xiaoyao shouldn't have had such thoughts. However, Jun Xiaoyao was not a hero, but a formidable person. And don't forget, Jun Xiaoyao still has the lotus seed. He had a vague feeling that the lotus seed was left behind by the Azure Arch to deal with the divine obsession. It was just that it hadn't fully awakened yet. After soaking in the spring of life, it should finally manifest some kind of ability. This plan is like pulling chestnuts out of the fire. If we aren't careful, we might lose everything. But it's worth a gamble. There was a trace of determination in Jun Xiaoyao's deep eyes. Sometimes, one should have the courage to go all out. This way, the foreign creatures also became a part of Jun Xiaoyao's plan. At the moment, Jun Xiaoyao seemed to be the chess player. The whole ruins of God was the chessboard. Meanwhile, the 7 emperors and the foreign creatures seemed to be his enemies, but they were actually his chess pieces. It could be said to be the biggest game Jun Xiaoyao had ever played since he started walking the ancient path. If he won, he would evolve completely. He might even be able to win the gamble against the heavens. However, if he lost, the consequences would be terrifying. Not only would it affect Jun Xiaoyao, it would also affect the border and the whole 9 heavens immortal realm. It could be said that Jun Xiaoyao was taking a huge gamble. There were no other young geniuses who were as bold and daring as Jun Xiaoyao. I should continue to improve my cultivation. Strength is the foundation of everything, Jun Xiaoyao murmured. The immortal source and the ancestral vein had been absorbed into his inner universe. Jun Xiaoyao could use the formidable qi to improve his cultivation. Jun Xiaoyao immersed himself in his cultivation as well. If he could improve his strength, he would be more confident in his plan. Jun Xiaoyao was immersed in his cultivation. The other 6 teams were also searching for the location of the divine obsessions. There were also the remaining prodigies who had entered the world of the divine ruins. They also met the foreign creatures for the first time and began to fight. That being said, the battles were brutal. The whole ruins of God was filled with cries of agony. Meanwhile, somewhere in the ruins of God, a crimson-red battleship was traveling in the rift. It was surrounded by densely packed foreign creatures. A young man in a crimson-red feather robe was standing at the front of the battleship. He had a pair of crimson-red eyes, which seemed to be engulfed in a sea of flames. On his back was a pair of crimson-red wings, like two heavenly sabers. Behind him was a rare phenomenon of a sea of flames. Thousands of creatures were crying out in agony as they endured the pain of being burned by the flames. The man was none other than the young expert of the Crimson Owl tribe, Chi Linkong. The Crimson Owls were an ominous bird that was born in a sea of flames. Rumors said that the experts of the Crimson Owl tribe were able to turn the world into a fiery hell. The Crimson Owl tribe used to be a top king tribe in the foreign realm. However, the Crimson Owl King had successfully advanced to become an immortal king. That was why the tribe ascended to the next level. As long as an immortal king appeared, the tribe they belonged to would become a half-emperor tribe. Of course, to become a true immortal emperor tribe, just having an immortal king was not enough. They had to have all kinds of deep foundations. At that moment, a group of foreign creatures stood in front of Chi Linkong. The one in the lead was the Sky Demon King, tribe's quasi-supreme. The June family of the immortal realm has finally appeared. Chi Linkong sneered. There were two young geniuses in the Crimson Owl tribe. One was Chi Linkong, and the other was his older brother, Chi Hongyu. Chi Hongyu was one of the leading figures of the foreign realm's younger generation. He had been cultivating in seclusion and did not come to the ruins of God. The Sky Demon 8 steeds have already fallen. It seems like this June Xiaoyao is as the information said, Chi Linkong muttered. Previously, when they entered the ruins of God, a few of the foreign realm's top young experts all obtained a set of information from the foreign realm's intelligence organization. On it were recorded a few people that the immortal realm needed to pay attention to. The first one was precisely June Xiaoyao. The June family's current son of God, Sequence Zero, was even more so a seed-level figure of the immortal realm's current generation. If those buried seeds did not appear, June Xiaoyao would be the undisputed number one, never tasting defeat until now. However, this way, defeating June Xiaoyao will be more interesting. I want to continue Lord Crimson Owl King's glory. Even without Big Brother taking action, I can sweep through the June family's younger generation. Chi Linkong's tone was extremely arrogant. Or perhaps it could be said that the foreign creatures' personalities were mostly a bit domineering, full of battle intent. However, before that, we still need to go to another sealed land that has been discovered. June Xiaoyao. Later, I will personally kill him. Chi Linkong sneered. The Crimson Owl tribe wasn't the only half-emperor tribe that came to the ruins of God. It was to the extent that there might even be young great ones from the immortal emperor race coming later. Chi Linkong wanted to first kill the immortal realm's younger generation's most powerful expert, which was June Xiaoyao. From there, he would establish a great merit, allowing the Crimson Owl tribe's reputation to rise to another level. Chapter 859. The entire world of the ruins of God was in turmoil, and the sound of killing could be heard everywhere. This could be seen as a small border battlefield. The scale might not be the largest, but the cruelty was no less than that of the real war between the two worlds. However, overall, it seemed that the foreign realm had the upper hand. After all, their living environment was special, and their folklore was quite valiant. At the same level, one person could fight against several people from the immortal realm. The higher the race level, the stronger the strength. Moreover, the world of the ruins of God was currently in an open state. In other words, both sides would continue to send people in until a result was produced. Otherwise, the divine will would be completely unsealed and the entire world of the ruins of God would be broken open. Otherwise, the immortal realm would completely seal or destroy the divine will, completely eliminating the hidden dangers. Before that, the war would not stop. At this moment, outside the world of the ruins of God, at the border, a young figure arrived at the place. The chaotic aura he emitted even made some of the guarding elders look at him in surprise. That's the aura of the chaotic physique. How is that possible? Wasn't the most famous one buried in the door of chaos by a supreme existence? He shouldn't have been born yet. No, although there's the aura of the chaotic physique, it's far weaker than the chaotic physique. It's the postnatal chaotic physique. So it's the one from the sun god mountain. He actually succeeded? From time to time, The surprised discussions of some elders could be heard from the border. The chaotic physique was the strongest physique in the world. As long as it was born, it would sweep through the world and dominate the era. It was rumored that although Emperor Qing was not a chaotic physique, he had almost the same ability as the chaotic physique. This was because he was a green lotus born from the essence of chaos. In the end, Emperor Qing became a legendary emperor. From this, it could be seen how terrifying the chaotic physique would be. However, in the current era, there was no news of the birth of the chaotic physique. However, it was rumored that a certain chaotic physique seed was sealed in the door of chaos by a supreme existence. It was very likely that it would be born in this most brilliant era. It was precisely because of this that many people thought that Jun Xiaoyao was only temporarily invincible among the younger generation. Not to mention the other seeds, just the birth of the chaotic physique was enough to sweep through the current era. If it was only the sacred body of the ancients, it would not be easy to fight against the chaotic physique. Even with the addition of the supreme being bone, it was hard to say. The acquired chaotic body is indeed incomparable to the true chaotic body. However, it is still very strong. Why do I feel a faint aura of death? Some of the veterans at the border looked at the 10 princes of Jinwu suspiciously. The aura of the 10 princes of Jinwu was much stronger than before. However, there was a faint death chi in his aura, which made people feel puzzled. Naturally, they did not know what method the 10 princes of Jinwu had used to cultivate the acquired chaotic body. At this moment, the 10 princes of Jinwu had also arrived outside the giant green lotus. His body trembled uncontrollably. It was not fear. Instead, it was excitement. The excitement of finally being able to take revenge with his own hands. Jun Xiaoyao, just you wait. This prince will find you soon, but I won't kill you that quickly. This prince wants everyone related to you to die in front of you. Your pain will be 1,000,000 times worse than mine. The gold and silver eyes of the 10 princes of Jinwu shot out a bone-deep hatred. He did not care about the overall situation of the immortal region or the foreign realm. He only wanted to kill Jun Xiaoyao. Just as the 10 princes of Jinwu stood in front of the world of the divine ruins and wanted to express his feelings, a vast aura suddenly rose from a distance. A great path bridge imprinted with all kinds of mysterious runes and marks of the great path of heaven and earth suddenly extended from a distance. A figure stepped on the great path bridge. It seemed very far, but in the next moment, it was right in front of them. The figure was shrouded in divine brilliance and could not be seen clearly. Vaguely, there was a faint aura of time permeating the air. It was as if he had walked from the past to the present. His aura was that of a quasi-supreme being, which just met the requirements to enter the world of the divine ruins. However, it gave people the feeling that this figure was not the original body. Which old antique is this? Even the 10 princes of Jinwu was a little stunned. He did not notice that he had just blocked the path of that figure. An indifferent gaze glanced at the 10 princes of Jinwu and then retracted. Inferior chaotic body, don't block the way. That figure waved his hand indifferently. Boom! The 10 princes of Jinwu was directly sent flying. The blood in his chest churned, and he could not help but spit out a mouthful of blood. His expression was filled with extreme horror and shock. What shocked him was not only the cultivation of that figure. It was that in the glimpse just now, he vaguely saw an extremely young and blurry face. If this figure was not an old monster who had regained his youth, then it was definitely a young person. But how could a young person have such terrifying strength? Almost in an instant, a word appeared in the 10 princes of Jinwu's mind. A seed-level prodigy. In addition, there was a faint aura of time around him. Without a doubt, this was a seed buried in ancient history that had awakened and headed to the world of the ruins of God. Not only was the 10 princes of Jinwu surprised, but some of the elders who were guarding the border were also extremely surprised. Hey, it's really a seed, but it's just a clone. It seems that the original body has not been completely born yet. A clone has the cultivation of a quasi-supreme. These seeds buried in the era are really terrifying. Although they are young, it's only relative. They are at least a few hundred years old. Of course, compared to people like us who have cultivated for tens of thousands of years and barely reached the supremacy level, there's still too many monsters. Cultivators had a long lifespan. A few hundred years old, could only be considered a youth, and still belonged to the younger generation. Jun Xiaoyao, who had cultivated to the great sage level in his 20s, was a monster. Even a seed-level prodigy could not compare to him. The era of seeds germinating has arrived. I wonder if Xiaoyao can hold the fort. The fourth Master Scar also sighed. The buried seeds had begun to germinate. The first thing to do after being born was, of course, to establish dominance. The best way to establish dominance was to find the strongest young prodigy of the generation to fight. And Jun Xiaoyao was almost universally recognized as the #1 prodigy of a younger generation. Naturally, he would receive the greatest impact and test. The seed-level prodigy, shrouded in a blurry light, directly entered the world of the ruins of God. The 10 princes of Jinwu was left behind with a look of shock and indignation. He wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth, feeling as if his Tao heart was about to split open. He had thought that he could defeat Jun Xiaoyao and become a #1 prodigy of the younger generation. In the end, a seed-level prodigy jumped out and injured him with a casual wave of his hand. It was more than just tragic. Who exactly is that seed-level prodigy? Which faction is he from? The 10 princes of Jinwu's expression was gloomy. Forget it. Revenge is the priority. After dealing with Jun Xiaoyao, I will cultivate in seclusion for a period of time. I will not be any worse than these seed-level prodigies. That seed-level prodigy actually dared to say that he had an inferior chaotic body. The 10 princes of Jinwu would remember this grudge.